Camp. But a part of me felt like I'm here to be the unhinged liberal.
Carry it hard, man. Carry it hard.
Well, the
Welcome.
unhinged conservatives just got here.
Yeah, Confluence, Gibbs. Nice
Oh,
to see you.
Nice to see you, Gibbs. Confluence. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Still gathering people. to yet another episode of WIC TV. It's a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. Gang, we've got a show for you tonight. We're living in the post-Kirk world, and boy, oh boy, is it chaotic. We just had another shooting today at an ICE facility. We had rumors that the government's going to prosecute James Comey, right? A lot of stuff's happening out there. A lot of stuff's going on. But the question we're going to have for tonight, the thing we came to discuss, is this. The Republican reaction to all this, to the Kirk shooting and more. Is it appropriate, or have they gone too far? We got a lovely set of guests to talk about this. We're going to give it to each in turn. We're going to start with Gelatinous Rube, and then we'll go around and we'll see how it goes. So, Rube, give us what you got.
Actually, can you have one other person go first?
Oh, wonderful. Great. This is going well already. Since he's can't get it up yet, Peaches, can you go for it? Okay. Can you give us what you got?
Sure. I'm so sorry about was this the question about the memorial? I was trying
Not
to figure
yet.
out.
We're
I
making
can't get my
opening statements.
Discord.
Oh my
I can't get my
God.
overlay. Oh, about did the right go too far?
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to say absolutely yes. All of this is just a political tool for Trump to continue to unite his base and try to spread hate and division. And yeah, he doesn't care about Charlie Kirk at all. He just cares about furthering his political agenda, and I feel like that's super obvious. So yeah, I think that the right has gone way too far. I think that, and I'm sure we'll get into it more. But
Sure we
yeah.
will. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
Next
me.
up, we're gonna Rube will go later. We're gonna skip him again. We're gonna go to Confluence. Confluence, give us what you got.
All right. I think that in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, we saw something we've never seen before in the broad American political landscape. The unapologetic justification, celebration, and snark at the murder of a political speaker. The left will have you pretend this is normal and that the right does the same. We broadly do not. And so when the right reacts justly so, whether it's wanting Kimmel off the air for spreading dangerous misinformation, and I think arguably violating the terms of his public broadcast license, or when it's Crowder saying we need to be ready to do legal violence in the form of self-defense, or when it's Stephen Miller saying we will win over the powers of darkness, all these things are justified and moral speech. Or when it comes to people being fired, call it cancel culture or censorship if you want, but there is a line and the left has crossed it, and there are consequences.
Okay, we're getting to get into it as we go. This should be a spicy one, gang. Gibbs, give us what you got.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. I'm Admiral Gibbs. You can find me everywhere as Admiral Gibbs. Yeah, at first I was on the real peaceful, let's tone it down stage, but I don't know. Just in the last 2 weeks since Kirk's gotten shot, we've had Charlie Kirk killed. We shot an ABC affiliate up for not airing Kimmel. We had a wedding blown up or attacked by somebody yelling "Free Palestine." People shot an ICE facility by someone who's clearly left-leaning. The mass celebration of Charlie Kirk's death, and then now they're calling the memorial a Nazi rally. It's despicable. It's disgusting. It's one-sided. After George Floyd died, there was rioting in the streets. There was taking over insurrection of cities. And here we've had prayers, mourning, and bringing the country together. Peach was right. Trump is unifying his base, and he's making amends with people in his base that he had fallen out with. And I'm a big fan of all this. This is great to see that Elon Musk, Trump, train back on track. I'm excited to see the right seems to have unified more than ever before, and I look forward to what comes next.
Yes, we'll find out. Gelatinous Rube, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think that everything should be working properly now. Yeah, so I, broadly speaking, think that the right hasn't gone far enough. I think they've made a couple of strategic blunders. I think once your side starts getting assassinated successfully, it's no longer just attempts. I think you need to ram through every policy you could possibly imagine. You need to weaponize it. You need to fucking destroy these people. And they haven't yet. We've seen blunders with the H-1B proposal, where at first we hear that we're going to completely gut the H-1B program by requiring a yearly fee, even for existing H-1Bs, of $100,000. And this is the most exciting news to every computer science graduate who has had to deal with a number of H-1Bs coming in every year, equal to their number of graduates who currently can't, 90% of whom currently can't find jobs. It's totally insane. And nothing. Total strategic misstep. We should be prosecuting people. We need to have people thrown in prison. Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't have had his broadcasting license taken away, or his showrunners shouldn't have had their broadcasting license taken away. Jimmy Kimmel should probably be in prison. If that's the big deal, like if that's what he's going to, if that's what we're going to claim is the big deal, then he should probably be in prison. But there's a long list of people who should be in prison before him. So let's start locking them up.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, it should be spicy. And last but certainly not least, Motohead. What do you have? Is that how you say your name, by the way? I should.
You can just call me Moto. It's fine. It's
Okay,
Moto X
Moto.
Freak, but you can just call me Moto. I think that the right-wing response, even if we discount everything that was happening before, I think the right-wing response since Charlie Kirk's assassination, which was horrific and vile and should never happen in America, has been absolutely disgusting. It has been un-American in the worst possible ways. And to show how, I'll actually let Gibbs and Confluence speak for themselves here, because less than 2 days since the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Gibbs is going on his stream talking about how we know the shooter is already left leaning, right? This is before we had even found the gun, right? Confluence talking about how it's disgusting to make jokes or whatever, and on that very same stream, he's making the Paul Pelosi gay boyfriend lover joke, like in the same stream where they're discounting all of these people celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. So don't let
Talking about
either of
me?
these people. And don't let either of these people try
I've
to
never
convince
done
you
that.
that they're
Brother,
in good
you're-
faith.
It's opening. Let him
Oh,
go.
sorry,
You can
sorry.
respond after.
Sorry, I forgot it was
Don't let-
opening.
Don't let either of these people try to convince you that they're taking this seriously or any more than just a rhetorical game for their own power. And to speak to Gibbs, he even admitted that Trump is heinous, right? But he's willing to choose the devil he knows because he knows that he won't come after him. Fuck everybody else. As long as he doesn't come after me, it's fine.
Okay. And with that, let's open up with a question. I told you guys I would be asking this question first of all, and then we can get into all of that, right? You can respond to him if you want confluence in your answer to your question, I promise, right? But the question is, the Kirk Memorial with the speeches and all that, do we think that that was okay? Do we think that that was appropriate? And
wanna know
open
what
floor,
wasn't.
open discussion. Go ahead.
What wasn't appropriate about it? I see like people like Destiny calling it a Nazi rally. Like what?
The sparklers! It was a fucking WWE
Oh,
intro!
sure.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
but
about?
that's not a Nazi rally. Like, yeah, like if your argument is it's
At a
showy,
funeral?
and the Nazi rallies were showy, like okay,
At
it was
a
showy.
funeral?
I mean, hold on. You said it's a
Not a
WWE.
funeral.
Hold on. You said it's a WWE thing. Actually, you know what? I'll agree with you. It's 100% WWE inspired. If you know, actually, right behind me, I have the book Controversy Creates Cash by Eric Bischoff. If you know who's in Trump's administration, Linda McMahon, and you know their close ties and their donor history, it comes as no surprise they probably have similar staffers that are going to put on a great product like the WWE that has millions of people motivated to watch every week and has for damn near 30, 40 years. Yeah, I would argue that, yeah, just don't be mad that people are better at marketing than you are. That doesn't make them Nazis. That just makes them skilled.
Yeah, it was
No, it's
obviously
gross.
it was a
Gross.
political
It's gross.
/ religious funeral. That kind of fits with Charlie Kirk's life. He was a religious / political person. He would have loved it. So like how is it a Nazi? Do you think it's a Nazi rally? I guess because you didn't say that. Because unlike
So
you,
first of
I'm not
all,
going to put words into your mouth like you did to me, saying I made
didn't
a
put
joke
words.
about.
No. I didn't put
Where-
words into your mouth.
You have me confused with someone else.
You
if
better
you think
be
I made
lucky
a,
that I'm on my phone right now. You better be lucky that I'm on my phone right now and I don't have access to the actual clip to put here in chat right now.
I would love
okay?
to see it because I've never done that.
I'll put it on Twitter later.
Please,
for you.
please do.
Okay.
Based. So the issue with it is, so Turning Point can do whatever they want with memorializing Charlie Kirk. That's not really the problem. It's the fact that you had the president of the United States, the vice president, different people in his administration going there to then use it as an opportunity to further their agenda and talk about things like, for example, I know that Vance went on to talk about how he was a good man. That's fine and all, but he believed in all things like life is important from, beginning to end, and so we need to continue this motive or this message.
Wait, you
What a
agree?
Nazi.
Peach, can I ask you a
That's so
question? Let me ask you.
Nazi-ish.
Let me ask you a question, Peach. All right, so I know that you don't stand with them on their beliefs, right? But you would vote for a politician that had your beliefs, and you'd want that politician to expound on their beliefs, right? So when you're saying,
I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't use the death of Charlie Kirk for my own
hold on.
political gain.
So what you're saying here is that it's political game. If I am a friend of the president, and the president and his vice president, I've worked with them, I worked to get them elected, I think it's within reason for them to go to this event because it is inherently political, because it is a political assassination. And for JD Vance to say, hey, I'm speaking as a Christian, this man was a Christian, he embodied the values I put,
it's not
that's
about
why we work
speaking
together.
as a Christian.
There's nothing wrong with that. And it's kind of despicable that you're coming after them for their beliefs and sitting here rallying everybody together around Charlie Kirk's death. This is a rallying moment.
It's not rallying people around Charlie Kirk's death. It has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's death at that point. If they want to go there and speak and eulogize him, then fine. Talk about how he was a good man, talk about how he was your friend, and leave it at that. Don't make it about the whole political violence on your side and demonize the left while you do it. And demonize the left while you do it, not by the left.
Don't make the assassination funeral of assassination.
That's crazy. Don't make the assassination funeral. The guy's got a hole in his throat.
Demonizing the left. Don't make it about.
Do you think Charlie Kirk would have liked it? I just want you to ask you that because you're acting like it's disrespectful.
He would have absolutely loved it.
It was a great memorial.
For all the reasons that we find it despicable and horrifying.
I understand,
for example,
but then don't
Gibbs,
talk about what it should be.
Sure, Gibbs, I have a question for you. Who got the keynote speech at Charlie Kirk's funeral?
Who got the keynote speech? I mean, what kind of question?
Who got the keynote speech? Who got the keynote speech at Charlie Kirk's funeral?
I don't know. What you tell me? Where are we going with this?
It was Trump.
Okay. Yeah.
He cucked the widow at her own husband's funeral.
Yeah, listen.
For one, and for two, not only did Erica. Well, first of all, not only did Erica go before Trump and gave the whole "I forgive the shooter" thing, which is great. That's good. I think that's a good thing for people to do to bring down the temperature, right? But then right after that, right, we get dear leader himself coming on stage talking about how the one thing that he didn't agree with Kirk on was that he hates his enemies. And
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Because let me ask you a question. Because you're calling this, he cucked the widow. All right. Well, I would agree with you if this was actually his funeral, but they didn't have the body out there. They didn't take pallbearers and bear. No, this was a memorial, right? And at memorials, what you do is you have the largest impact person speak at the end. Erica, well, she was a very important part of that. She's very important to the movement. She's important to Charlie. She's all these things. She's the widow. She's aggrieved. Yes, she absolutely should have a keynote speaking point, like a high level part, and she did. She was one of the major speakers. Now, absolutely, you're going to have the man speak as the keynote speaker that Charlie Kirk spent the last 10 years working on putting in office. Like, that's ludicrous that you think that they wouldn't do that.
Do you think that Trump and Erica's... Do you think that Trump and Erica's speeches were contradictory in tone?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that
when Erica comes on and says, "I forgive the shooter," that's what a good Christian does, and this shouldn't be happening in America. And then Trump comes on after her and says, "I hate my enemies. The radical left is responsible for this, and we're going to destroy them." Goebbels was, Miller was cooking. Okay?
Well, hold on. I have an answer for this.
Did you actually watch it?
I did actually watch it.
I
actually watched it. I do have an answer for this. First one, you're coming from two different perspectives. One, you have the aggrieved widow who's arguing from her Christian standpoint. She's sitting here forgiving them, and she's doing what she can from a personal standpoint. Then you have the leader of the free world. You have Donald Trump coming in here going, "Hey, my friend is dead." The Christian thing, he acknowledged that Charlie Kirk was a Christian that was better than, hold on. He acknowledged that Charlie Kirk was a better man than him, and he was a Christian and all these things. He acknowledged it. And then he said, he admitted, this is the flaw behind, no, I don't do this. I hate. And guess what? I hate my enemies. I hate the people that killed them. That's what Trump did. And as a leader of a political party, I think he was absolutely correct in doing that.
Who do you think should be able to dictate the tone? Who do you think should be able to dictate the tone?
The leader of the movement that Charlie Kirk worked for should be able to dictate the tone.
Not his wife?
Well, I don't,
Trump
what is it?
thinks is
Can
more
I ask?
important
than
than
what
his
actually
wife.
cares
What does it
Not his
matter?
wife,
It
no.
doesn't
This is
matter if the
stupid.
tone was
Hold on.
contradictory.
Okay,
None of this
one at a
actually
time.
matters. The point is that Trump came on and in his speech he said things like, "No side in American politics has a monopoly on disturbed or misguided people, but there's one party of our political community which believes that they have a monopoly on truth, goodness, and virtue, and concludes that they have a monopoly on power, thought, and speech." Well, that's not happening anymore. We've turned that corner very quickly. So they're making it about how we're not going to let Charlie die this way, and his
honoring his
voice is
legacy.
going to continue. And so now we're going to
That was a
promote
beautiful
up,
statement.
and we are going to. No, it wasn't. It's because
He
he's making
honored
it
his
about,
legacy by this
no,
statement.
it's because the president of the United States is saying that because of his death, we're going to now basically do a war on liberals and
Yeah, we are Charlie Kirk now,
speech
you're
from
right.
liberals.
Yeah.
And that's
We
not
haven't even gotten that far yet.
appropriate for a
Hold on,
Listen,
human
hold on,
being.
hold on.
religious right.
Well, you're
True.
saying we haven't gotten to that part, but you're talking about whether or not Trump and Erica Kirk have the same message. No one gives a fuck.
Okay, I want Rube. You can respond to that, please.
No, because Erica Kirk's message really resonates with the religious right about forgiveness, and he's a martyr, and I'm gonna die for my freedoms. You had to kill me before I stop defending your freedoms. That's generally the line of thought for the religious right, who like to lose. They like the thought of being martyrs. They like the idea that they would all hold hands and be killed for their beliefs. But that's not acceptable in American politics. You have to go to war. It's I will kill you. I'm coming for my rights if
Who
I
are
have to
you
go
gonna
through
kill,
you
Rube?
to get it.
Who are you coming to kill?
Let me finish.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you ahead of time. First
List
of all,
some
That's-
names.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
Do
just
some
Stop
Fed
Fed
posting.
posting, Wick. Stop Fed
But in
posting,
regards to
Wick.
the people who are actively killing us and who are actively restricting our speech, who have done so for the past 10 years, there needs to be some accountability for these people.
Right.
They need to bend the knee. They need to
Who
kiss the
killed Charlie
ring.
Kirk?
They need to walk peacefully into jail.
Who killed Charlie
or we're
Kirk?
going to push them there.
Leftist
at the point of
ideology killed
bayonets.
Charlie Kirk.
That's what we need.
No,
for
white man
America.
killed
That's what we
Charlie
needed
Kirk.
for America Kirk.
Yeah, and how many
frankly.
people celebrated his death and called for more of it?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and we've seen the last
thousands
How
of
many?
people.
Tell me who. I'm looking at our political leaders for that answer.
How about
But our
Ilhan
political
Omar?
leaders
How
are
about
just
Ilhan
right.
Omar?
Wasn't there just a
I'm looking at
congressional
political
session
leaders.
Ilhan Omar,
where they
there's one
tried
right there.
to mention Charlie Kirk and all the congressional people
Jasmine
like booed
Crockett, that's
him and
two.
were like this is happening within our own
No, it's because
Congress.
Wick,
on
can you source
Friday.
that Ilhan Omar tweet?
Because the
I
issue
will
was
say-
because
It's
what
very
had
soft.
happened? No, because what happened was they wanted to
It's not even a
pass
tweet.
because they wanted to pass legislation to honor and recognize him as this wonderful man and for his views. And so you have Democrats on the other side saying, "I don't honor him. He doesn't represent my views." That's why they were talking about him in the first place. It had nothing to do with there was no like party and get together where they all just sort of shitting on him. It was they were stating why they weren't going to be in favor of supporting and propping him up as this like god speaker for all of American people because he's
So
just
do you
not.
deny that
No,
large
they asked for a moment
swaths
of
of your
silence.
party
Hold
are
on,
celebrating
Ask for a
this?
moment of
Hold on.
silence.
Hold on.
I have
Let's go to. You're talking about two different things here. Okay. So one is the when it first happened, they called for a moment of silence within I think it was Congress. I think it was the House. It might have been the Senate though. And there was
It was the House.
There was a altercation, a verbal altercation there. The second thing that's happened is they called for a resolution to honor the memory of Charlie Kirk and things like that, and that's what Peaches is referring to. But I want
thought
to
it was
give
the
the
same
mic.
situation.
So
Yeah,
I
I want
want
to give the mic. I want to give the mic to Confluence, who's been trying to talk. So Confluence, here's the mic.
I just
Say what you
want
want.
thank you for the mic. I just want to know if you really truly believe that isn't large swaths of your own party celebrating the death of a political assassination. Because are you saying that's not true? Like, you know
I
it's
haven't
true.
seen it. No, it's not.
You
Show me.
haven't seen it, really?
No.
You haven't. Wow. Okay, I
Why don't
don't
you show
believe
me?
you. I
Okay, why don't you show me?
I
No,
mean,
he's gonna
yeah.
start pulling. He's gonna start pulling up like 10 follower fucking Twitter
Exactly,
accounts
that's
and
the
No,
point.
I'm gonna-
TikToks. Like
I'm
that's
gonna
what he's
pull-
gonna
no.
start
Jimmy
pulling,
Kimmel.
right?
No,
Let's
I could pull up
Jimmy
stuff on.
Kimmel, who
Jimmy
went on
Kimmel?
and
Yeah, what did
lied
Jimmy
about-
Kimmel say? What did Jimmy Kimmel
who
say?
Went on and lied about the shooter. to the
What was the lie? What was the
Congress
lie?
Oh, I mean-
To them,
trying
it's not a
themselves
lie,
for the
though,
shooter.
It's a
because
good
to them,
point.
they don't think
We
the
need to
shooter was
clarify.
left
What did he
wing.
say?
We need to stop.
That was a good point because
We need to stop right here. What was the
Charlie
quote?
Kirk was killed for
What did he
not
say?
being right wing enough, which is totally insane.
What did Kimmel say? What were his words? Give me the quote. What did he say?
Trying to distance themselves from the shooter. Do you want the full quote? We should pull up the full.
Well,
I want the full quote.
Well, while you're doing that, let's talk about quotes. Let's talk about another quote. Hold on. Let's talk about another quote
you haven't
here.
seen mass people celebrating.
Well,
I don't believe that.
Well, Confluence. Let's just talk
Have
about
you
another.
seen the right celebrating and saying that we need to go to war with Democrats and we need to consider Democrats to be a
Yes, I'm
domestic
saying
terrorist
that.
organization?
I'm doing it here.
Okay,
Yes.
at least you
Because it's a
recognize
self-defense
that.
Laura Loomer.
Let me hold on. Let's talk.
Don't associate
Well,
me
hold on.
with
Let's talk
Laura
about these
Loomer.
quotes.
Come on.
Let's talk
I
about
changed my mind.
Let's talk about these quotes though, because we had another quote that was brought up, and it was actually a quote of mine. What was your name, sir? Was it Mechanized Influence? What was your name? Modem. Sorry. Thank you. I have a concussion, so I apologize. I'm going to probably mess some things up. But listen, if what you're saying is true about, hey, Gibbs was out here saying XYZ before we had evidence. I saw evidence. I thought supported my claim. And guess what? I ended up being 100% correct. Just like I was right about the election, like I was right about this, and several other times I've called these things out for being right. And lo and behold, like the prophet coming down from the heavens, I was right again. And so when you're sitting here talking about lies, well, we can talk about lies. We can sit here and talk about lies. We can talk about what Kimmel did, which was outright lie, which is a problem. That's totally different scenarios. I made a statement based off of
Can you
facts.
expand on what the problem is?
The problem is that it's an FCC violation. He has a public broadcast license under the FCC. I could pull it up right now. It's on their website.
None of them have read his quote. Notice how none of them have read his quote yet.
I mean, that's the claim you keep making. First, you're saying we didn't even watch the speech.
Someone was pulling it up.
I got the quote.
Read the tweet. Read the tweet, boys, because nobody here knows how to read a tweet, apparently. Regardless, the point is, I'm not sitting here saying he needed to be taken down. In fact, Charlie Kirk's own organization, Turning Point, has asked South Park's episode to be put back on the air. They're saying that's what Charlie would have wanted. I've seen some arguments, but if we really want to dive down into this, and we want to talk about which party is censorship gods, I don't think the Dems are going to be able to win that battle. That's like throwing a rock in a glass house after the information that just came out yesterday. Wild stuff. The hypocrisy that's happening when they do this. The hypocrisy is outstanding, and it's ridiculous that y'all can sit here with a straight face and even try to gaslight us.
Yeah, YouTube sending a letter saying that that Biden administration was pressuring them. That's utterly ridiculous.
Wait. First of all, stop. One thing needs to be made abundantly clear.
What is the root? They were mob level tactics. Mob level tactics. That's the exact word. They used mob level tactics.
Hold on. Moto finish, and then you can reply, Gibbs. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, about that letter from that law firm, right? Every instance of this pressure of censorship, right, was done. Was apparently done by the Biden administration, but over that same period of time, they were able to show a demonstrable reduction in moderation standards, in shrinking their moderation teams. So while this so-called pressure was underway, they were loosening moderation more and more and more.
That's because Alphabet wanted to do the right thing. They said that. Alphabet said that in a letter. They tried to go against it, but they said senior Biden administration officials.
So the pressure didn't work. So the pressure didn't work, right?
It doesn't matter if it worked or not. First of all, a bunch of people got banned. That's why YouTube is saying they're coming back.
Hold on. First of all, I've sat here and I've watched a lot of panels this last week, and I'm going to use the exact quotes from our dear beloved moderator Wick the Great. Here, I'm going to use his exact words, or a paraphrase of quite enough, so maybe not exactly, but it's. but you can. If you disagree with this statement, because you did say this, you said the FCC saying, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to pressure you, and we're going to file charges, we're going to do X, Y, Z. You said, and I quote, that is mob-style tactics. Either do what we say. Okay, cool. So we agree. So here's the same thing that the Biden administration did. And I hate to do this whataboutism game, but I'm only doing this to point out the hypocrisy.
Can you give me an example of Biden's FCC chair coming out?
One second. You can go in a second. I waited. Here, listen. Right. So it's real clear when we have YouTube saying that they peer pressured them. We have the same style of the FCC. We have Google saying the same thing. We have Facebook. I think we have Twitter saying it. I mean, we can go on. There's a litany of these different companies, social media companies, saying they were pressured by members of the Biden administration in the same manner as what the host here just claimed was a mob-level tactics. The only difference is one's the head of the FCC and the other are, well, we don't really know all the facts yet because they did such a good job hiding it, but we're definitely official members of the Biden team. To me, it just seems like, exact same. I guess it's
So
Politics
here's the
is
One
question.
holds a public broadcast license.
Wait.
That's a privilege.
Hold on.
It's not a
So,
right.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We're getting back to Kimmel. We're rotating back to that. But just to address that real quick, has there been any evidence shown of these memos, these emails, or whatever, or are you just going off of a YouTube or Alphabet lawyer saying, "Trust me, bro"? Aren't you the same people that were saying back in 2020 to 2024?
Do you
that
know where I'm
couldn't
getting
trust
this,
these
Suresh?
fucking
I'm getting this
companies
from the
at all?
House.
And now you're just
Judiciary.
trusting
I'm
them
getting
just
it from
because
the
they agree with
House
you?
Judiciary Committee. That's who I'm getting this info from. So I guess, yeah, I
Who
think
got
there
it
is evidence.
from that letter? Can you read?
Oh, yeah. So the House Judiciary Committee just doesn't
The
know
King and
anything.
Spalding letter,
You
yes,
know
the King and
more
Spalding
than the
draft,
House
yes.
Judiciary Committee. You heard it here first,
No,
guys.
I know
You
that
got
Jim
it.
Jordan.
This guy
I know
has
that
a
Jim
crystal
Jordan got
ball.
that
He's
from that
Saruman the
Alphabet.
Great. It's amazing. I'm impressed.
What's your theory on why Alphabet would then release this letter and admit that they were dealing with all this pressure? You think like why Alphabet of all the companies?
It's entirely,
Well,
just to be
first of
clear,
all-
it's
first of all-
entirely possible that these people were just trying to score political points, political favor with the administration, because they were trying to engage in moderation against conservatives unfairly, because they were previously trying to score points with the previous administration. I don't really care
think
what the
that's true, but
explanation
sure.
is. Put them in jail or hang them.
God damn.
So back to Kimmel. Let's
Amazing.
rotate back to the Kimmel quote.
Someone read the quote. Does anyone have it up
Okay,
yet?
I got the quote.
Yeah,
up.
Thank
do you
you.
have it in front of
Okay,
you?
good.
Our
Let's get that
Steam
out of the way.
moderators got it.
This is a relevant part. Kimmel said in his Monday night monologue, and I quote, "The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." End quote.
Okay.
Exactly. That is
So
a
That's
lie.
a
The
lie.
shooter
How
is
is it
on
a
the left.
lie?
That is
Where
a
is the lie?
How
dangerous
is it a
lie.
lie?
Put him
Where's the
in jail.
lie?
He's implying that
It's literally
that the
opinion.
shooter was
Oh, he's
mega.
implying something.
No,
so he
no,
didn't
no,
do
no.
He's
anything.
directly
no.
implying
Listen,
it.
What did he say? He
What did
said
Donald Trump
Anything
say
MAGA.
but
about it?
one of them.
Can-
That
What did
means
Donald
okay.
Trump say
you-
about
hold on.
Jimmy Kimmel getting his job back? He didn't say anything that you're saying. Look at the words from Donald
Bro,
Trump
the
himself.
exact-
I don't care
His
what
own tweet.
Donald Trump.
I can't.
I don't.
Oh,
I
you
care what
don't
the
actually
FCC
care about
says.
that.
Well, we were just hold on. We
You
were
don't
I
just
don't care what the
Donald Trump
FCC
says.
says.
Whenever
If
I
it's an
get a chance.
FCC
You don't care
violation,
about
it's an
that. What is
FCC
that? What is that?
It's
What
an
is
violation.
FCC
that?
violation. Who
Trump
the
is
fuck
not-
says it's an FCC violation? Who are you
I
to
can-
say that? Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck. That's
The,
not why
the
he
chair
wanted him
of the
off the air.
FCC is the one who can say it, and he said we're going to look into it and we're going to figure it out. And if
Okay,
you
well,
read on the
he's back
FCC
now.
website,
Great.
you can see. Yeah, and I hope the
I-
FCC
no, I-
investigates.
I think it's
'cause
funny.
I think it could have been a violation.
It's really funny. It was
Great.
hold
He
on.
can
It's
imply
really
something.
funny. It's really
No,
funny
no,
that
you
y'all
have to
sat
do these
here.
mind games
It's
where
no,
he
no.
implies
It's
something.
really.
What's
It's
the
really.
mind
Hold on.
fucking
No, no,
mind
no, no,
games
no,
I'm
no. Hold on.
doing?
Hold on.
I'm
Lying.
looking
Hold
at
on.
the
Hold on.
FCC
Hold on.
guidelines.
It's
I'm
really.
looking at the
Confluence
FCC
is that-
guidelines. There's a
Confluence.
violation
Confluence.
of the
People
FCC
that do political
guidelines.
violence constantly. I don't care what side you're on.
Peach, one at a time. No one can hear you when you're all screaming at each other. So Peach, finish your point. Then we're gonna go Confluence, then we're gonna go Gibbs, and then we're gonna go Moto. That's the order. Peach, Confluence, Gibbs, Moto. Go.
You're saying that it's a lie because he is implying that he was on the right, not the left, that he didn't have the political ideology that you believe that he did, when really, at the end of the day, political violence is political violence, and the people that are perpetuating political violence, unfortunately, currently, are Republicans. I don't know why you're laughing when Donald Trump is literally saying that we need to demonize all the radical left. We need to go after them. In all of his speeches, he's saying that we need to go after the left so hard. He's going to investigate all of these different organizations. We need to go after each. He's just demonizing people, and he's perpetuating. He's just continuing the political violence like he always does. Look at all of Trump's history. All he cares about is political violence, and he doesn't do anything to stop it. He likes this. He's just he's propping it up, and that's exactly what the shooter did. So, I mean, even you can look at Donald Trump's own quote when they brought Kimmel back. He's
Can I
saying
speak?
things,
Peach?
no, he's saying things like his talent was over there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly? That's not funny. He is yet another arm of the DNC,
You're
and to the
moving
best
off
of my
topic.
knowledge, that would be
Peach,
major to
you're
my
moving off topic.
illegal campaign contributions. So if we're talking about the reason why Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't be on the air, it doesn't have to do with the FCC. Now he's talking about illegal campaign contributions. So I don't even know what it is that you're on, whatever your fucking
You're
hope
doing a
is.
hell of a
Political
Trump
violence is
weave right
political
now,
violence.
Peach. You're doing a hell of a
Pass
Trump
the
weave.
I can't
You
wait to hear
brought it
whatever
back.
the fuck is going to come out of your mouth. Go for it. Let's see how it goes.
Good.
Go for it.
Well,
Speak.
I would say that what Jimmy Kimmel did is, again, My point is that it's a possible FCC violation. I can read it to you. The rule prohibits broadcast licensees and permittees from broadcasting false information concerning a crime or catastrophe. Okay? The guy wrote the "Hey Fascist" catch on the bullet casings and "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow." This is so clearly.
Wait. To clarify, what was on the bullet was "Bella Chow, Bella Chow." That translates to "catch this fascist."
No, that's not true.
No,
That's
there's two
not
separate
true.
bullets.
Good misinformation, though.
Weren't there 4 bullets? Weren't there 4 bullets?
Well,
the
yes,
first
4
one had
bullets.
that.
There was. If you're reading this, you're gay.
Okay,
This is
all
notice his
of you shut up.
bulge.
I want to make sure everyone gets this clear. One bullet said "Hey Fascist" catch, and it had right arrow, down arrow, 3 up arrow, something like that, right? And then the second bullet had "Bella Chow" on it. Okay. That said,
Yes.
I misunderstood. I thought the Helldiver's bullet was
fine.
different
Let's give
than
it
the
back
Bella
to
Chow
Tom.
No,
bullet.
so we have two bullets with anti-fascist rhetoric on it. And we have his parents saying that he was talking about hating Kirk and he has a trans girlfriend. And if you were going to seriously sit there and tell me that this person was possibly MAGA and a Jimmy Kimmel for a second in his retarded mind thought, even he's not that retarded to think that the shooter was on the right. That's just bad. That is dangerous misinformation that he's promoting. They killed one of us and they're blaming it on us. It's absurd.
Wait, hold on.
Is it my turn now? Hold on.
Gibbs, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
So
no, you go ahead.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I kind of take issue with this, and I kind of agree with Confluence here. First, we were asked if we knew the quote, right? And then Wick read the quote, and it proved to be exactly what we said, right? His exact words. Hold on. His exact words. His exact words. His exact words.
You're gonna go next after Gibbs. You're gonna go next, Moto. I promise. So let Gibbs go, and then you can respond to it all. Moto, you'll have the floor, but let Gibbs finish, please. Thank you.
All right. His exact words: "MAGA gang was desperately trying to characterize the kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them." Okay, cool. Let's do an English lesson real quick. MAGA gang. That's the subject, all right? You see them? That's the person, right? Anything other than one of them. That would be the implication back to the MAGA gang, right? That's not
You're
even...
playing their
hold
game
on.
right
No,
now.
we're not playing a game. Hold on. This is literally direct sentence. It's in the same sentence. So it's not even just an implication. It's a direct statement saying he is a MAGA person, right? That's like not even questionable. If you understand English, maybe you need to go back to school for it. I don't know. But further, what they did on top of this is if you saw a Confluence, they asked us what happened, right? And they asked us about the quote. And then once they got called on their bullshit about the quote, they immediately started to whatever. They're deflecting to something else because, we don't have anything of a substance. We know Jimmy Kimmel said something heinous and false. And then, hey, we're going to start talking about bobbing and weaving over here with the Biden, with what the Trump said this, they said this. And it's crazy because, they had the same sort of pressure through all these other groups. We know this for a fact. The House Judiciary Committee has released some initial findings. And now they're going to sit here and go, no, it's totally different now. And then go, why are Republicans playing the game that we're playing? Well, we're tired of playing from behind all the time. No. And now it's consequences for your actions. And now y'all don't like having to take accountability. That's the one word the Democrats don't have is accountability. They never take accountability for anything ever. It's crazy.
Listen, I'm not going to take accountability for somebody shooting at somebody else. That's just not my game. You should recognize that too. Sorry, go ahead.
So, first of all, listen to these two guys right now. Listen to them justifying political violence while decrying the implication. You do need to go back to school. Is it my turn? Okay? Is it my turn? I thought it was my turn.
Moto, go ahead. Moto, please.
So, first of all, listen to these two guys justify political violence while in the same sentence decrying the perceived political violence from the other side. Second of all, Gibbs, I'm so glad that you showed me that you know how sentences work, because that tells me that you're not retarded, you're just bad faith. Because the rest of that sentence that you conveniently chopped off was anything other than them, implying not that MAGA is trying to MAGA is just trying to prove that he's not MAGA. That's it. Yes. He could be a far left, he could be a liberal, he could be a groiper, he could be whatever, right? The thing is that they were bending over backwards to prove that he was any one of these other things. And that is true. There is no lie there, right?
The copium you're huffing,
MAGA.
brother.
I'll say this right now. He wasn't MAGA. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't saying that he's MAGA. We know that he wasn't MAGA, but he was talking about how his parents were MAGA.
So what, you think he's a groiper? Like what? If he's not MAGA,
fuck what he is.
Well, he's on the left. No, I'll tell you that much.
Who
Let me
cares?
say-
What do you mean, who cares?
You
It
care because
matters
you're
because
using
Kimmel
this
is
to further-
implying.
No. You're doing it because your party is about doing political violence and committing political violence onto other people. Your president is saying that it was the radical left
We've been doing that a
terrorists
lot.
who did it because
we
all
did
you
so
can
many
do-
assassination
all you
attempts
have
on
to do-
Biden. Remember those? Yeah, I
What
forgot
about Melissa
those.
Hortman? What about the assassination of Melissa Hortman?
Melissa
What about
Hortman,
Melissa
look at the way that
Hortman?
everybody
Well, hold on.
talked about the
Melissa
Pelosi.
Hortman. I mean,
Pause it.
I
So,
would.
Peach,
Go ahead.
What you're saying? No, I need to jump in here for a second, just to bridge this. What you guys are, your position is that Jimmy Kimmel is speaking to the scramble to characterize him as something other than.
Oh my God.
Right?
No, it's because all you want to do is you need to paint him as a radical left terrorist.
Was he a radical
so
leftist
you
or not?
can continue to
That's what I
perpetuate
said.
political
Like, we're trying
violence
to-
against
He
the
was-
left
That's
because
what I
that's
said. Wait,
what
was he a
Trump's
radical-
message is. That is
No
all
painting by
MAGA cares
fire.
about right now. All MAGA wants to
This
do
is a
is
fucking
persecute
paint by
the
number,
left.
okay?
He
Very
has
easy.
to be.
Paint by number.
He has to
Let
be
Ruth finish.
a lefty. No, he
Let
has
Ruth
to be
finish.
a
That's what I'm
lefty.
saying. That's
Because
what-
if he's
alright,
a
so that's
lefty,
Jimmy
then we can
Kimmel's
perpetuate
position.
political violence.
He
No,
is a
what the fuck
lefty.
are you
That's
on?
just the fact.
Yeah,
We
and
are-
so now we can commit political violence against him.
What?
Okay.
No,
fact.
and that's just like
What?
the guy Moto who's saying that me and Gibbs want political violence. What the fuck did I say that made you think I want political violence? You lied about me in your
It's
opener, and you're lying
time-
through your teeth
it-
now. Maybe you just don't
What?
understand how words
Okay.
work.
Can we all? All right,
Okay.
let's just for funsies
That's
here.
okay.
Just for funsies. I want to see if we can all agree on something here. All right. Who here? And I know Pete, you're gonna say it doesn't matter, but like, let's just play this game real quick. Who here
Tell me what I'm gonna say.
thinks that this guy was a leftist? Yes or no? Like, if you think he's leftist, raise your hand.
To be clear, Tyler Robinson.
The Charlie Kirk shooter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we all
probably.
think
Yeah,
yeah.
Tyler Robinson.
Okay, so 4 people here think yes. And-
What? Now what? What does it mean?
Well, so
What does
that's
it mean
Well,
to
what it
be a
means,
leftist?
what it means
What
is
does
that
it
2
mean?
of us don't think he's a leftist,
Which
which is the
two of us are incredibly
which
bad
is
faith.
which is hold on. Well, I'm
What?
telling you
What
the
does it
point,
mean?
which is either that 2 of y'all either don't think he's leftist, so either 1, y'all are being intentionally dishonest, or 2, then y'all just that misinformed that this conversation
So,
is not
hold
worth
on.
continuing,
Yep.
Gibbs.
or 3, and this is
Gibbs.
maybe, and this is the more important thing. Hold on,
Turns out to
hold
be
on, hold on,
leftist.
hold on.
It
This is
doesn't
the
matter.
no, it does matter, and I'm going to tell you why. Because 3, it does matter because when we sit here and we've had this game where we've been told for the last 50 years or 20 years or however long that political violence is right leaning, the right's the problem, the cis white male, he's evil, and then suddenly we go and start looking at the numbers, we start looking at the facts and high profile things. In the last 2 weeks, we've had a ton of leftist violence, but the left is sitting here going, nah, most of these guys
What
aren't
leftist
even
violence?
What's
aren't
the
even
leftist
leftists.
violence in the past 2 weeks?
Okay,
What
let's go
leftist
through it
violence?
again. I said it in my opener, but we had
Again.
Charlie.
It was literally in his opener.
Oh, it was literally we had Charlie Kirk murdered. Charlie Kirk murdered.
I
We had the
want-
shooter, an ABC affiliate, running for Kimmel. That guess what? That guy's out on bail or whatever. He shot up the ABC affiliate, and he said it was specifically because of Kimmel, and he was going to go after
So-
right-leaning politicians next. Okay. Then we have a wedding where they
Why
had
would
free
he go
power.
after Kimmel?
Hold
He
on,
was-
hold on,
he
hold
was
on. And then we
like-
had
hold
hold on. In the last,
Okay,
you asked me a
okay, you
question.
guys are-
I'm
hold on.
answering the question you asked. Which the
Let Gibbs go,
third
and then
was they
Moto.
had a
Gibbs
wedding
and Moto.
at a golf club that was shot up by a person that yelled "Free Palestine" and started shooting. And then we have people shot today at an ICE facility by someone who is a known leftist with Antifa stuff, all of their profile, and their mother an active
We don't know
anti-Republican.
anything
No,
about
we
that
do.
yet.
No, we
How
do.
did-
We do
No,
know.
we
I'm
do
sorry.
not.
This is once again bad faith in you. They have profile pictures with
Bad
Antifa.
faith.
Hold on, Antifa stuff in their profile.
literally
I can't
is.
say that. Their mom is a known Democrat advocator here, where it lines up one for one. And guess what? Surprise! In the last 4 weeks, we've had up 5 shootings. And guess
You
what?
acknowledge
When I
that
say it's
political
leftist violence,
violence
y'all go,
is
it doesn't matter suddenly.
Right.
But for the last
Gibbs,
3
that's a very
years,
important
y'all
point.
told me right-wing violence was a problem.
Right now.
You know, but
Whenever
no.
you're done.
How
Hold
come
on,
is it?
hold on,
I'm almost done.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
almost.
hey,
I'm on the
hey,
last
hey,
sentence
hey,
here.
hey,
I'm on the last sentence, and so this.
Hey, Gibbs. Everyone, you gotta stop yelling it over each other. I don't want to mute people, but I will. Okay, Gibbs, finish.
Sorry,
And
yeah,
Moto.
thank you. And so lastly here, so after you asked me the question, I've laid this out, right? Well, the reason this is important is for the last like 10 years, 20 years, y'all have told us, oh, it's all right-wing violence, it's a problem. And now that suddenly leftist violence is a problem, y'all are going, oh, well, it doesn't really matter who was fighting. And you just see how bad faith and dishonest it is? It's because, oh, we were suddenly the problem the whole time. And now that we see y'all are a problem, y'all are going, well, poo-poo, that's not fair.
So
No.
first of all,
No,
again,
no,
hold on, real quick.
We're not saying poo-poo is not fair. We're
That's what you're
saying
saying.
you can't go after a whole entire group of people, the whole entire Democrat Party, and say that they are the ones that killed Charlie Kirk, and that we
they
need
are.
to do something to every
So,
single Democrat. We
one,
need to
they're
make
not.
them. We need to
Peach,
make
if
them
I
a
may.
domestic
Who
terrorist
said
organization
that?
because the dude
Peach,
that
if I
killed them
may.
Who
may
said
have
that,
been
Pete? You're
left.
just you're not
I
you don't
think-
even live in
President of the
reality,
United
Pete.
I've been
States. The president of the
mischaracterized. I
United
feel like
States
I
said
haven't
that.
Hold on.
He
received
said
enough
that all
credit.
Democrats.
Moto is
All
accusing
Democrats.
Confluence and Gibbs of
Okay, enough,
advocating
enough,
for
enough,
political
enough.
violence.
Rube, enough.
When it's
Moto.
me.
Moto. Go ahead.
So first of all, he keeps doing this like the left ratcheted it up, right, with the whole they called us Nazis argument, because that's what he keeps doing, right, but conveniently forgets that the right has been doing this since like fucking McCarthy, with calling everybody commies and Marxists and socialists and fucking traitors and all of these other things, right? Like he's totally memory holding that all of that happened from the right as well. And secondly, the what do you think identifies him as necessarily a leftist?
Are you fucking kidding me, brother?
Have you followed the story
No,
at
that's
all?
a genuine question.
Yeah, are you? I
What-
like.
you can we can go point by point if you like. We can go point by point if you like.
Okay, let's
What
start with the bullet
is
casings.
Okay.
How about having?
You said point by
I think it's
point. I
fine. I would've
expected if
started
I'd
with
say
We can
something,
go
you have a
with the
fucking
bullet
response,
casings.
brother.
Which
Charlie
bullet?
Kirk.
Are we
I
gonna
think
go?
you
Which
can
bullet
presume.
The reason-
casing?
Hey, I'm gonna answer the fucking question. You can presume that you can presume somebody's political affiliation based on who they kill. You can. You can.
mean-
Can I say
It's
something?
not-
And then I will shut up
No,
for
no,
the
no.
rest of this
Totally
conversation.
damning
I will shut up for the rest of this
evidence.
I keep
It
getting
is
conversation.
cut
a
off.
point in
I'll shut up.
favor of the political affiliation.
Look, what I'm saying is, like, I actually agree with you, right? If you look at it holistically, like as a constellation of things, right? But it has to be a preponderance of this evidence that leads to a similar conclusion. So if I can demonstrate that each and every necessarily identifying leftist point that this guy, or checkbox that this guy might tick off, if I can explain each one of those points to a different, also consistent conclusion, that you can't say that he's necessarily leftist, or that any of these positions that he held were necessarily leftist.
Bro,
That's
this
what
is
I'm
why
trying to say.
this is why I say you're
I
bad
actually agree with
faith.
you. No,
I'm
let
gonna
me
say
jump in
something
here.
real quick.
I actually
was called
totally
bad
agree.
faith. No,
Oh yeah,
no,
you
no,
first.
Notice how they don't want to engage with me.
I was called bad faith because I couldn't recognize that he was actually left, or I said that it didn't matter. The reason why it doesn't matter is because we have a problem in our country with political violence at the moment, regardless of side. I have my opinions, but regardless, we have an issue with political violence and it needs to be stopped, and we need to figure out what to do. If we just continue to talk about, well, is it left or is it right, the only thing that's going to do is keep the finger pointed at the other side, and it's going to keep dividing, and it's going to create more
That's
political
true,
violence.
but that's
But
a
it's
great
because-
Mott and Bailey you
it's
just did.
because-
Fantastic.
It's because people.
I need to jump in
It's
here for a
because
second
people like
because I do
Confluence
agree
and
that
Gibbs.
these people are not necessarily leftist, even though I think it's totally ridiculous. I could just say prima facie, yeah, probably a leftist based on who he killed. And I could be wrong later. Doesn't actually matter to me that much. A lot of people who go off and do shootings apparently have some kind of schizotypal disorder. They have some kind of mental illness. And while that is certainly higher on the left writ large, I think that's mostly like a rounding error, basically. I don't really care about that, though. What I care about is the reaction to the violence. So if somebody goes out, I said this in the Luigi panel, I don't really care if Luigi is personally a good person. I don't really care if personally he had a lot of issues with healthcare or whatnot. I think that if a random mugger steps into an alleyway and happens to shoot, as a result of being a criminal, happens to shoot Hitler or happens to shoot Stalin, then he's done something heroic, even if he didn't necessarily mean it. Similarly, I think
disagree
if you
with
come
that.
to embody, if
I
you
disagree
come
with
to
that
embody
entirely, but-
the left and people enjoy your action and celebrate it, and at the very least go off and defend and justify it, then that's what I have an issue with. What I have an issue
that's
with
why
is
I
the
asked.
reaction.
Well, that's why I asked, right? Because this reaction is necessarily predicated on the fact that that he is a leftist, right? That's the pretext
No,
for
it's
all
not.
of this, right?
No, it's not.
Yes,
The people
no,
reacting
absolutely
to
it is. What do you mean?
Not the right's
do you
reaction. When I
mean?
talk about the reaction, I mean the left's reaction to
talking
the
about
shooting,
celebrating.
justifying it and enjoying it, right? That's what I mean.
Okay, well, no. But you could also say that that's necessarily predicated by the rights actions, right? It's the same type of like where history starts bullshit that people like Confluence and Gibbs like to play with is the same thing that the unhinged fucking Israel-Palestine tankies like to do. It's like they pick the start of history to what is the best for their argument, right? So for right now, the start of history is when Charlie Kirk was murdered, right? Ignoring
when this guy died.
that Melissa Hortman. Let me finish. Ignoring the Melissa Hortman assassin, right? And then just in the same way that pro-Pally people will be like, well, October 7th was justified when ignoring the thing that like predicated Israel's response that led to that, right? Like it's this constant walking back of where you want to start the line so that you can point the finger at somebody else and say it was them without actually taking accountability for when that shit happens under your own fucking roof. And
Look, we can
that's what
talk.
this is about.
We can talk about other instances. Yeah, we can go back to Oklahoma City bombing. I disavow that. That was right-wing terrorism. Like, what do you want from me? We're talking about Charlie Kirk. We're talking about an isolated event. If you want to talk history, yeah, there have been terrorism on both sides.
Confluence. They do this every. Hold on. They do this every
time.
time. They do this every time. Like I come on many panels, and it's been about 100 probably now, right? And we want to talk about Charlie Kirk. We're here to talk about Charlie Kirk Memorial, the aftermath, all these things. And then what they do is they go and bring up something that's not relevant further back. Like if we're talking about how good Trump is as a president, I guarantee you January 6th is going to come up. No matter if we're talking about border policy, if we're talking about the sky is cheese, it doesn't matter. We can be talking about the nitty gritty of a specific policy, and they're going to be like, no, but January 6th, same thing here. They're going to go, but Timothy McVeigh, but this guy. And it's just like, we can't even talk about the issue at hand because they can't be good enough to do that.
That's your best example. Wait, what about
so you just use the what about answer right there. What about exactly right there?
What about the Melissa Hortman assassin?
Well, actually, let's talk about that. Hold on. Perfect. Let's talk about everybody in the. Hold on. They did a memorandum thing in the Senate or the Senate and the House, just like they did for Charlie Kirk. How many Republicans voted against that? Did the flags get lowered to half staff for Melissa Hortman? How many people voted against that? How many people voted against that in the Republican Party?
I want you to answer Gibbs' question.
Yeah. Don't answer a question with a question. How many people voted against that for the Melissa Hortman versus how many Democrats voted against Charlie Kirk's? Do you see the problem here?
And how many people are celebrating that assassination versus this?
Wait. You challenged me to address a question. Who celebrated or like
no. There was a vote. There was a vote from like memorandum. I don't know the exact wording for both Charlie Kirk and for the Hortmans, right? In the Senate and the House or whatever, right? And so all the Republicans voted, yeah, we should do something. We should all be in memorandum, take a moment of silence, do et cetera, whatever it is, right? I'm paraphrasing. And then when it comes to what happened with Charlie Kirk, do you know how many Democrats did the same thing? Oh no, there was about a ton of them that said no, we're not going to do that. And so it's terrible.
Just real quick. Hold on, just real quick, because again, this is a point of fact. The Hortman memorandum was significantly different than the Kirk memorandum. The Kirk memorandum had a lot more to it than the Hortman did. So
that's convenient.
That's not convenient. It's not convenient that it agrees with us, you fucking ghoul.
Well, what more did it have? What more did it have?
What more specifically?
I can bring them up both to get the wording, but the Kirk one, let me get the exact wording.
Yeah, but the point is nobody, no Republican. Yeah, it's splitting hairs, but no Republican.
It's kind of splitting hairs is why we need to tackle you guys and just absolutely fucking
Were the flags lowered?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Celebrating. I want to know how many people were celebrating this death.
Are you talking about political violence? What are you talking about?
You're gonna make me go to Twitter on stream. This isn't gonna be good.
Prison time. I'm talking about deportations. I'm talking about ramming through every single policy that we could get away with. I'm talking about destroying every single institution that the left
you're gone.
Has been
you're just completely
like
gone.
Termites.
Okay, exactly. Because when Trump did his address to the American people the night of Charlie Kirk's assassination, we were actually here. That was fun. I was here with Wick during that time when he started talking about political violence and how there's this huge issue on the left with political violence. He made it about the left, and he conveniently left out all of the political violence that was perpetuated against people from the left, like Melissa Hortman, because he needs to perpetuate this narrative in his movement. And you guys are all buying it, where it's all perpetuated by the left, and you guys.
No one is saying that. We're talking about Charlie Kirk. Have I just brought up the Oklahoma City bombing?
Yeah.
Apparently, none of you guys can hear shit.
Wait.
The point is that a political
Pertinent
violence
question. This is a
happens,
critical question.
and we
You
need
know,
to do
they,
something about it.
you know, they
Yeah, I'm ready
classify.
for the
Hold on,
critical
And you're
hold on.
talking about
question.
how the left is-
They
the
classified the
left
Pulse
is
nightclub
uniquely
shooting as right-wing
responsible.
violence.
You're saying
The
that
left is uniquely responsible for the
So-
death
Hey,
of
what's the-
Charlie
okay,
Kirk,
hold
not
on,
for
hold on.
political violence writ large.
Whoa. Let's see if they're gonna be good faith here. Was the Pulse nightclub shooting right-wing violence or left-wing violence?
I'm pretty sure in that shooter's manifesto was didn't he wasn't it like the same type of vibe as like the Christchurch shooting guy?
Well, because it's been
Um,
classified as by the Dems as right-wing violence, even though it was a gay Muslim that shot up a club. I mean, I
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
Islamic terrorism.
Yeah.
So a gay Muslim
What do we
can't
do
do
about it?
right-wing violence?
What do we do about it?
What?
Okay, the left is evil. Now
Is
what?
a gay
what do you
Muslim
wanna
a
do?
right
What's the
wing?
point? What do
I
we
do-
do to
here's
solve
in
the
America?
problem?
Muslims are not
Okay.
part of the right wing.
Your
Yes,
claim-
no, they are in America. They're not part of the right
You
wing.
guys asked
They're
me
not
to
part
get
of
the
the.
Tough to
memorandums
learn.
up. You guys asked me to get the
Oh,
memorandums up. Do you still want the differences or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so in the Charlie Kirk memorandum, it has several. Whereas Charlie was devoted Christian, dedicated husband. I'm going to really paraphrase this. It's a long document, right, or longer for things. Fierce defender of American founding, its timeless principles, embodiment of free speech in the First Amendment, commitment to civil discussion, debate, one of the most prominent voices in America. Blah blah blah. All these things were added, and the Hortman one has a single line of what was it?
Wait, what?
A formidable public servant who served her community.
This is
And
the
again,
massive
this
difference
is
that you were
the-
presenting.
This
earlier.
is
wait,
a massive
wait for
difference.
the
It's not a
massive-
policy
Confluence
difference. It's just a difference in. Well, there were more words.
No,
Yeah,
Confluence
that's
and Gibbs.
ridiculous,
Confluence and
bro.
Gibbs want to make the claim, please, if you
Come
don't mind.
on.
Confluence and Gibbs keep wanting to make the claim that this is coming more from the right, that it is more ideologically motivated, or I'm sorry, from the left, that it is more ideologically motivated from the left, right? And it is coming more intensely from the left, right? We keep bringing up Melissa Hortman versus Charlie Kirk. When we look at those two shooters, which one of them would you classify as more ideologically motivated?
The Charlie Kirk shooter.
That is absolute horseshit, Gibbs, and you fucking know
Well, no,
it.
I don't, because
You
I'll
know
tell
it.
you why. We
No,
actually
that's
had,
just a lie.
hold on.
That's
We
just a
actually hold on.
lie.
Actually, I wasn't gonna do this,
Says
but
the
I
guy who
hold
says
on,
the
hold on,
Kirk
hold on.
shooter could have been
I will
right.
do this. I will do this. I
Rich.
wasn't gonna do this. I was actually gonna let.
Hold
Hold
on,
on,
hold
hold
on.
on. I was gonna
Could
let.
have.
I was gonna let it go and just like say, hey, it's fine. The guy that shot the Hortons, he's right wing, right? However, you know what? Since we're gonna be doing this bad faith game, I'll play the game. Listen, we have evidence that that guy had a
Bad
personal
faith game.
vendetta against Walls and a personal vendetta against some of these other people due to appointments, other things, and it might have been just work related. I haven't sat here though and tried
You
to
see
push.
his hit
Hold
list?
on. I haven't sat here and tried to push that, right? I could do that narrative, but I've just graced that, hey, yeah, this guy's right wing. Cool. But then when we try to get you to do the same thing from a guy that's dating a transgender person who's in a Discord
Let him
server
be
with
left-wing,
Antifa,
sure.
he's left
No,
wing.
no, no,
But then
no,
when
you
we
don't
say this,
understand.
I
y'all
don't
are like,
understand.
oh
You don't
no,
understand the
he's a
difference.
groiper. Like, you gotta
don't
be fucking
understand. The
kidding me,
difference
bro.
here, Gibbs,
Call him
the
left-wing.
difference here, Gibbs, is for the Melissa Hortman shooter. You people, even though it was
You people.
clearly right wing motivated. First
What
of
do
all,
you
if you
mean by
have
you people?
his hit list, I mean, you dumb MAGA.
It's a quote. It's
Oh,
from
God, I was
Okay,
Tropic
how many
Thunder.
people celebrated her shooting? That's what I want to know.
Please just keep it PG-13.
Yeah, it was
Sure.
Tropic Thunder. It was
Oh.
Tropic Thunder quote.
How many people celebrated her shooting? This is what I said in my opening. This is why it's a unique thing with Charlie. When she was killed, there wasn't a mass amount of people on the right getting hundreds of thousands of retweets and likes about the most grotesque jokes about their death and the
Like I looked at
celebration of
libs of
it.
TikTok.
They're selling for
I'm gonna go
$20.
Look, I'm
I'm
not
gonna
saying
go find that right now.
I'm not saying you can't. Libs of TikTok is often.
I'll put money on it. I'll put
They're
money on it
selling
right now.
a $20 thing. A leftist organization right now is selling a $20 statue made for 3D printing of Charlie Kirk getting shot. And you're telling me that leftists aren't celebrating
Who
this?
is this? Who is this
It's
that's
like a
selling
small
this?
leftist org. They're selling them as memorandum.
A small leftist org.
I mean, I'm not bringing up, but I mean, if there's y'all are
Is it an Etsy store?
No, if y'all are acting like this,
listening to Prime Guys justify it.
yeah, if you're acting like they're not celebrating when we have literal merch of the guys bleeding out from the thing, like
From
being
an
sold.
Etsy store.
I mean, it's not just it's
What
big,
about
I got big enough that made
What about
national
someone
news.
what about someone like Destiny, who has like 100 or almost 1 million subs and is like one of the biggest streamers on the left, who is openly saying that the right should be afraid because we need more of this, so much to the point that YouTube has to demonetize his whole channel. Like, is that not big enough
So
for you?
first of all,
should be afraid
you're
because we should all be
misunderstanding what his
afraid
position
because
is.
it's political violence as a whole across
That
the
is
board.
not.
across
If
all
you
of
listen
us.
to what
we
Destiny
should all
said,
be
I'm
afraid.
saying, I'm
We
saying,
should
I
all
know.
be
But I'm
afraid
giving examples
of
of
political
prominent
violence.
people on the left saying unhinged shit, celebrating the death of Kirk. And I don't see that with Melissa Hortman. I don't see that with the other people. All I see, the best you guys can show is like Paul Pelosi and people making jokes. And the guy didn't die. I still condemn those jokes. They shouldn't have been made. But you have like Dave Rubin tweeting out like MC's Hammer Time, or Donald Trump Jr. tweeting out a Halloween costume. Yeah, that's bad. That's not the level of what we're seeing with Kirk. It's just not the
what
level.
is
And
the
you guys try
level
to
of what
play
we're
this
seeing
equivalent.
with Kirk? All you did was talk about how Jimmy Kimmel implied that he may have been right wing, even though
That's
I
an
don't
FCC
agree.
violation, though.
I can show you like a supercut
That's
of
not
like
an
people
FCC
of
violation.
TikToks
Give it to me.
laughing about it.
Okay, I don't care about
on
some
fucking stream.
random
We're not
person
gonna
in their
scroll through
basement going,
TikTok
ha ha ha, I
right
care
now.
You
about
should.
Hold on,
You
hold on,
should when it
I
gets
shouldn't.
10,000
Hold on, let Peach
likes.
go. Hold on.
When it
Oh
gets
my God.
10,000,
Confluence,
20,000,
confluence,
30,000 likes.
Bye more.
Let Peach go. Peach respond.
yeah.
Then you can respond to her. Go ahead.
Good answer.
Because all I want to talk about is you want to talk about like 10 follower accounts that may have gotten 100 likes from like mystery people or like
Not a-
100,000 likes
no.
from mystery people. I
Oh,
don't care.
100,000.
I
Yeah,
care
that's
about
pretty big, right?
I care about the president of the United States and the way that he has engaged.
Okay, so
with
you
the
don't care
Charlie
about people
Kirk
with a
shooting.
million followers saying this, aka Destiny. You don't care about people getting hundreds of
I care
thousands
about the
of
president
When
of
did
the
he
United States.
celebrate
retweets
Charlie
and
Kirk's
likes.
death? When did he do that?
Destiny?
Yeah.
When did he
That's-
celebrate it?
All over. I mean, just watch any of his.
Can
Go to
you
his
give me an
Twitter.
example? Can you give me an example?
Go to his
Of him
Twitter.
A funny
celebrating it?
joke about
Hold on,
how
what
Charlie
happened to
Kirk
Peaches?
was. She disconnected.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
probably coming back.
Backstage.
Sorry,
again.
I didn't know if she. I was like, what? I looked away.
My
and wanted
whole
to
my
respond to
internet
something.
crashed.
Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
it's okay. It's
I was
okay.
gonna. I was definitely gonna claim
Carry on.
victory.
I was just.
I was like, we
Internet
won.
crashed.
She went. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not streaming anymore, my bad, but yeah.
Another example of the left constraining free speech, even against themselves.
Oh yeah, right. True. It was the left's fault
I
that
am
her
curious,
internet
though.
went
I am
out.
curious,
True.
So to get us back on track, so Confluence, you're saying that Destiny celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination. Can you give us an example of that?
I mean, I have to go to his Twitter. I watched it on stream. I don't remember the verbatim quote. I mean,
Did
he's
a
been
really
he's
funny
been
joke
making
about how
making
Charlie
fun.
Kirk, if I knew that Charlie Kirk was going to, looking back on my statement about Charlie Kirk being, Charlie Kirk is a devil spawn, the spawn of Satan. I have to go back now and edit it to Charlie Kirk was the spawn of Satan, which is pretty
Actually, I
fucking
just
funny.
remember there's one saying. Oh gosh, I wish maybe I can find it. He was talking about the amount of blood that was pouring from Charlie Kirk's neck, and he was making a joke about that amount of blood, and it was gleeful. It was disgusting. I just saw it today.
I don't believe you unless you show it to me. I don't
Oh my
believe you. unless
God,
you show it.
I just
brother.
don't know why
Do you
we
know-
don't
do
care
you know
about the president of the
Destiny?
United States.
Do you know Destiny? Because like what I'm
No,
saying
I've never
is
heard of him. I don't know who he is.
Well,
Okay, well
That's
then,
your
but then
argument.
hold on. Let's actually
This is why the right-wing
I'm saying he's a
conservative
prominent-
movement
he's a
is
prominent
so
left-wing
fucked
streamer.
because
I'm
they
pretty
wanna
sure
play
what
this
Destiny
stupid
said-
little grievance game all fucking day. We already have a database coming out of people who celebrated Charlie Kirk. It'll be available apparently
Industrialized
in the next 2
cancel
weeks.
culture.
Yes,
What
so
about-
for it. Yes,
Hold
that's
on,
right.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
Fire them
Cancel
all.
Okay,
culture,
enough,
it's gonna be
enough. I love the
smokestacks.
energy. I love the
Trump.
energy. Hold on. I love the energy, but y'all are trying my patience today.
Wait, can we talk about Donald Trump? I don't understand why it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, before we move to Trump, can I say
I
one more
wanna
thing about
jump in
Destiny?
here. No, we've been going over these stupid fucking examples. Well,
Hold
what
on,
about this
hold
one?
on, hold
What
on.
about this one?
Hold on.
I've literally just been
Can
saying
you show
Donald
me this
Trump.
tweet? Well, I
I've
can
literally
show
just
you
been
No,
saying
hold on,
Donald Trump.
hold
I
on,
know-
hold
I
on,
know
hold
you
on.
have. I don't want to go
Let's
back
give it
on
to
Retweet
him.
it to me.
another
Hold on, let's
20-minute
go through.
fucking tangent about those specific examples. I would like to focus on something like political violence and how we could use it to our benefit.
Okay, well,
Exactly,
that'd
to
be
your
more fun.
benefit. This guy is actually exactly.
Well,
the problem
hold on,
with
all
the
right, so-
world. I don't even know.
well, y'all
Okay,
brought up
thank you for
something.
admitting that. I appreciate
Y'all
it.
brought up something though, right? Like y'all brought up Destiny, and like I've generally stayed away from like, oh, somebody's made edgy jokes, someone's a provocateur. There's provocateurs on both sides. Like I like personally, do I like the mean jokes? Like no, I mean, but I'm a dick, so fuck it, like whatever. Like I'm not gonna sit here and call someone else out for like being a dick. All right, whatever. However, I will say this though, Destiny did say something, and I'm actually glad he said it. and I want y'all to know this. I'm so glad that Destiny said conservatives should be afraid to go to events and speak of dying. They should. And the reason why I'm glad he said this is because he's inspired conservatives. I'm now going to go debate Destiny in person, and I hope someone takes a pot shot, because now there's going to be a million more martyrs. You've inspired more people than ever. You inspired more people to go and fight for their beliefs, because guess what? Y'all think that the only way to win is to kill these people, and we're over here willing to go and sit here and talk, and y'all are sitting here hoping that, hold on. Y'all are sitting here saying, we hope that they're afraid, and the only way, and guess what? The only way people are afraid is if they actually have a legitimate concern that they're going to get shot, right? So guess what? Y'all are sitting here saying the only way we can beat them, because they are willing to come and engage in dialogue, just like I am, is to kill these people, and that's what Destiny's saying. And Destiny has a million followers, just like Confluence said, and it's crazy. It's crazy that y'all want to sit here and go, oh, well, but what about Trump? But what about this guy? Whenever y'all are the ones who are advocating to stifle the dialogue through fear.
Do you
That's
think
crazy.
Destiny's opinion is equivalent to the president of the United States? Do you think Destiny's opinion is equivalent to the president of the United States?
This got brought up because I said that if you that in previous right-wing instances of violence, you don't see mass celebration. With this, you do. That is a very different.
Number one, you do. Number two, I think that Charlie Kirk is very unique in this situation because it was so.
I didn't joke. Stop slandering. Pull it up. Go into your fucking house and find that shit if you're gonna reference it again. You won't. It didn't happen.
Hold on.
Okay, enough. All of you. You three of you are trying to talk. And three of you are saying totally different things. We can't hear you. Peach, then Rube.
Right-wing violence, a problem. Left-wing violence, a problem. The reason why, I don't remember the exact Destiny quote, but I would agree with it. For me personally, because the way that I interpret it is, until the right starts to actually understand and recognize that this is a real problem in our society, they're not going to do anything about it until then. They're going to continue to call for violence like they're doing right now, like this guy is right now.
Yeah,
because you guys actually don't care, and you're saying that you want to go and debate him, and you're hoping that somebody takes a pot shot at you. I wonder, like, why? Why is that? It's because we're just continuing to heat the flames, and we just want more political violence.
To be clear, I don't want to get shot, but like if
Okay.
someone does shoot me, like the point is it just goes to prove that like this idea that it's right wing when we're sitting here, there haven't been.
I have a question for Rube, but
sure.
finish your
Yeah,
point.
sorry.
He's going to tell you as Gibbs is bleeding out. He will say, "Imagine if we did the same."
Yeah, no, I mean that would be base,
That's
but
his
like,
entire-
but
that's
no,
his entire
my point. My point though is that like
This thing
one
is bad
one
only
side,
when they do
one.
it.
Hold on, my point is this, right? Like whenever
one
like
said
something bad happens on the right, like right wingers are going, oh, the guy that killed the Hortmans, I have no problem saying give that guy the death penalty. Fuck that dude, right? We shouldn't be taking it out. I can see tons of people. Sure, there are probably some fringe guys that are gonna like celebrate. There's always some fringe, and I'm gonna let the left have the freedom with some fringe people too, right? But whenever we see somebody that's entrenched in the community and has influence, like Destiny, like Jasmine Crockett, who's like whatever, we have like Alien Omar. We're sitting here.
That's what he said. He hopes he gets to the death penalty.
Hold on, saying these things that are inflammatory to the. Hold on. It does matter. No. Listen. Hold on. No. Stop. Hold on. It does.
Keep going off.
You're wrong. No, you're wrong. No. Stop. Hold on. Let me just finish here. The point is though. Hold on. The point is though that the left is actively pushing an idea that fear can silence their opposition because talking hasn't worked, and that's what's happening now. And y'all are trying to deny it.
Bernie Sanders, Obama, Biden, what are all of their messages to everybody about the situation?
Obama said that basically tried to justify it. Obama tried to justify.
No, he did not. Where? No, he did
his whole
not.
speech, it was pretty sus, bro.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Lying.
I mean, it was
You're
sus.
lying.
He was basically making excuses for
You're
why.
lying.
He
No,
basically made excuses for why somebody can train him. He said that he can make excuses to see why someone came to this conclusion. No.
I got a question for Rube, and it is my panel, so I'm going to use a little bit of some of my privilege here, my panelist privilege.
Hell yeah.
A question
Executive power.
You've said a few times, and I think Peach caught on to it, and I want to talk about it. I want to explore it because it is worth discussing. You said that we should be talking about how we can use political violence for our aims, for our goals. Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by that? how would you use political violence for your goals? Go ahead.
Just going back in context, I'm not opposed to the other context, but I want to make sure we separate these two things. I was there on the first night of the Dangerous F Slur tour with Milo Yiannopoulos, right? And I had a bunch of people behind me screaming at them, smearing blood all over themselves. There was an altercation after the event ended where a bunch of people started chasing after other students. It was the same people who were screaming back there. It was pretty funny, but I remember that feeling of just like, oh, that's a little unhinged. And the end of Milo's tour at that time ended with like, was it UCLA burning? It was a riot over a political figure, a random guy. Milo at that time was still just a random guy from Twitter who was popularized by Gamergate or whatever, coming over to speak and say hi and be provocative and say, oh, darling, in really funny accents. That same streak of person, and I'm sorry for being so slow, I'm sorry for stumbling over this, but that same streak of people, that same breed of person, that lower life form that engages in violence against mere speech, continued on and festered like a cancer that needs to be cut out until it finally killed Charlie Kirk. It's the through line of these people. I don't care about necessarily reactions or examples of like, well, which people celebrated or whatever. This cancer in our society appreciates violence against other people due to words because they don't have a filter in their heads that lets them distinguish words from violence. It's a lower life form. It's a kind of not person that needs to be destroyed.
That's
what
said.
I'm talking
Wait,
about.
Well
They
said.
need to be put in prison.
Wait, I don't
Beautifully
understand what
said.
you just said.
Thank you,
What do we do with
Goebbels.
political
Thank
violence? I'm
you.
confused. How
Thank
do we
you,
use the political
Goebbels.
violence to our advantage? I guess I'm
Killing
confused.
people
Can you
is
summarize it
political
for me?
violence.
He says we
Okay.
kill
Killing
them.
people
We
is
should
political
kill
Kill
violence.
them.
them.
That's what
Oh,
he
okay, I
says.
missed it. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we should. I don't think we should kill him. Just to go
I
on,
appreciate
on
that.
the record.
Well, yeah, you would rather they kill you because then
No,
you can
I'd rather
sit
them
around
be
and
all
your wife can
arrested.
complain that they killed you.
See, look at him.
I'd
Look
rather
at him
them
do
be
it. Look at him
arrested.
go.
I agree. Wait,
Look at him go.
Wait, I agree. People who commit political violence should be arrested, and I agree. I know that
But
we
they
kind of
haven't
touched on
been.
it.
Hold on, just to be
Yes,
just
they
be
have.
clear, just be clear, because I'm not sure what you're saying. So confluence, to ask you, when you're saying they should be arrested, who are you referring to? Are you referring to the people who are celebrating?
In my perfect world, yes. I mean, it's probably First Amendment protected, so I understand that. But if I was in
Fuck the
charge,
First Amendment, right? Fuck
because
the First
well,
Amendment.
I'm just saying. I think
'Cause
at
it
a
hurt my
certain point,
feelings.
it's not hurting feeling. It's stochastic
It is.
terrorism, brother.
It is. You're
I
a
mean, I
snowflake.
think there is a
Stochastic
line where it's
terrorism?
like,
I fucking hate conservatives
Yes, it is.
so much.
It's like-
I fucking hate you people.
it is.
Every time,
I mean, it's like
every time I look at the people who are doing
Here's
the
the thing,
killing
though.
against free speech, I think I am forced every time to look back on conservatives and their reaction and understand, God, fuck, they really do deserve
You know
it
what's
sometimes,
funny?
though.
You know what's funny, Rube?
is that
You know what's
directed
funny,
against
I don't-
Rube,
me?
is
I
that
don't
these
endorse
guys-
this take.
These guys
I'm
would be
conservative.
willing to align themselves
I
with
want
their.
them, I
These
want them
two guys
arrested
would.
for celebrating. No, how about the
So-
two-tier justice system that we've been living in for the past 20 years, where the left can go out and riot and they can engage in actual fucking terrorism?
I know, but you're
actual
saying
fucking
you're
political
saying
violence.
you're saying
Charlottesville wasn't
kill them. You're saying
terrorism.
excise the
Charlottesville
cancer
wasn't
with political
terrorism.
violence.
Right.
Charlottesville wasn't terrorism.
I don't know what your
first.
stance is,
I
brother.
don't stand by. Hold on. I'm a conservative. Maybe let me be a little bit of a voice of middle here. Listen. I think it's disgusting that these people celebrate it. I agree. These people are cancer and a rot and they festered and they're bad. I agree. However, I'll be goddamned if we actually believe in the free speech saying, oh, the government should arrest you because you celebrated someone's death. No, you should be able to celebrate somebody's death. Then, guess what? You should have to suffer the consequences when people decide to cancel your job, try to cancel whatever. However, you shouldn't be like
Yeah, I have a
having daddy government coming in here and going, we're taking you to jail. We're rounding you up and sending you to the
Well, I
camps.
did
I'll
specify. I
die.
said in
Hold on,
my-
I
in
will
my
die.
platform.
I will
I
die.
agree,
Hold on,
but
I
they
will
said it's
die
First Amendment
for every.
protected.
I will die for every single leftist that sat there and celebrated Charlie Kirk's death long before I'll ever sit here and join the side that says let daddy government come in and throw us in jail because we said something somebody
That's
don't like.
funny you say
That's
that.
bullshit. I don't like it, and I think they should be canceled, lose jobs. But if you want daddy government to come in there, you're just as bad as the leftist. I think that's
Great,
a
so
problem.
I have a. I have a comment
Agreed.
and a question.
Well, I disagree
okay?
with that.
First, the comment, right? The comment is that, well, actually, I'm going to just get to the question first because I think it'll elucidate it a little bit better, right? First of all, this isn't a. I'm going to do it anyway. First of all, this isn't a cancer. This is coming from the top, right? This isn't an infiltration, right? And I can prove it. Prove it. The day after Charlie Kirk was murdered, dear leader himself went on Fox and Friends
Kim Jong?
and was asked specifically, by was that Brian Kilmeade? Would you say to the people that want revenge? What would you say to the people that want to get revenge for Charlie? What would you want to say to them? What did he say?
Tell us.
Well, how did he respond to that?
Tell us.
He responded to that by going, well, you do want to get revenge, right? And then he gets fed at the ballot box, right? And then he immediately pivots to, well, the ballots are all rigged anyway, so what are you going to do, first of all? And then at another point of that same fucking interview.
There we go. That's
right?
my president.
That same fucking interview, right? He says, there is violence on the right and on the left. But when the violence comes from the right, they just care about crime. That's it. They just care about crime. Does that sound like a justification of political violence to you from the president of the United States?
Well, would you?
I'm not going to sit here and defend everything Trump says.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Yes.
I'm
Hold
doing
on,
it.
you can just
Hold on. You gotta let him answer.
Yeah, I do want to answer that. Yeah, like, okay, I kind of maybe agree with that. You know, is murdering Charlie Kirk a crime? Yeah, I think it's a crime. Is someone robbing my store a crime and I shoot him? Yeah, I guess that's violence. Not. I mean, that guy committed crime. I committed violence. I think Republicans react to crime with violence. I agree with that statement. Thank you.
No.
This is the
He's
president.
advocating for political violence.
Gibbs, this is the president.
It is a justification
This is
for
the
political
president
violence.
justifying right-wing violence. This is the president of the United States justifying right-wing violence. So that means it's not a cancer. This is coming from
This
the
guy
very
literally
top.
wants to. Yes, this guy's crazy. He's one of them, and he's the reason why, or he's what Trump is.
I don't think that Trump was around.
Trump's
Well,
working.
he was around in 20. You know, guy's old as fuck nowadays.
Okay. I want to differentiate myself from some of this. Like, I know Confluence is a little bit more on my side, but like, I'm not talking about rounding up people. I'm not talking about whatever. If you want to say wild shit,
can you address what I said?
I am. Listen, then that's one thing. But when you're sitting here saying, "Oh, Trump said this," okay, cool. When we're looking at it, crime is a major thing he's pushing about. When I look at like violence, and we're talking about violence politically or however, okay, you could classify, "Oh, I shot somebody that robbed my store" as political violence if you want to get like in the most technical sense, right? Whatever. But if someone's robbing my store, I have the ad. I mean, just to be clear, to clarify, I don't think that's what most people are talking about. Hold on, I'm just saying that if I'm sitting here shooting people that are coming to my store, and y'all want to classify that as political violence, that's one thing. I mean, then I guess I'm politically violent. But if you're sitting here saying, "Oh, Republicans are getting in mass and going in, I don't know, shooting leftist speakers because Charlie Kirk died," well, there's no evidence to that. In fact, there's a lot of evidence to the opposite side doing it, but there's no evidence of Republicans doing that. So yeah, I think Trump is right when we act in violence towards crime, because that's usually what motivates Republicans. The good guy with the gun.
He's justifying right-wing violence. He's justifying right-wing violence. Yes or no?
I mean, what do you call right-wing violence? Are you calling like shooting a criminal like right-wing violence? Or are you talking about assassination?
But what about January 6th? Was that political violence? If we're going to say that there
we don't need to go
down January 6th.
Look, they're already brain broken on that. That's a useless ground to fight on because they're already brain broken.
Oh yeah, just make more assumptions, bro. That's good.
It's clear.
Keep assuming things. It's a good look.
No, I've watched enough. I've watched enough of you guys. It's not an assumption.
Oh, enough of you guys. Okay.
Do we think that Kyle Rittenhouse
we're the ones grouping the other side.
I don't know if everybody has like a default answer to this. Do we?
No, you and Gibbs specifically. To be clear.
Hold on.
When there is political violence.
Hold on. Rube asked a question, and I'm curious the answer. Rube asked, "Was Kyle Rittenhouse considered political violence? Is what he did considered
that's a good
political
question.
violence? Are we putting that under the umbrella of political violence?"
No, of course not. It was self-defense.
Well, you would say that, but they would classify it probably. Many people do. They go,
Yeah,
"Oh, you shot about
It was self-defense.
I mean, they are the party that loves,
No,
whatever.
I'll bite that bullet. I don't think Kyle Rittenhouse was.
It's not even biting a bullet.
classified as political violence.
It's
I
like
don't think.
biting a
I
bullet.
don't think
Yeah.
that. I don't think that incident should be
I
classified
just
as
wanted to
political
make sure
violence.
we were
though.
all on the
Okay.
same page.
I
here.
appreciate that. But
Something
the
we all
point-
agree
I
on.
tend to think that it should be.
But the point is,
Honestly.
or my thought is, and I'm glad that we could air that out, and thank you for
You
asking
shot
that
3
question, Wake, is
pedophiles.
because a lot of it is like I'm waiting to hear your words.
What was political
In
violence for that
what you are
situation?
s-
Did the
Hold on,
people
let-
that
let-
hold on,
wasn't
hold on, but
political violence.
the people
Hold on,
that
Gibbs, hold on,
attacked
hold on,
did
hold
the
on,
people that
Gibbs,
attacked
Gibbs,
Kyle
stop,
Rittenhouse
Gibbs,
did the people that
Gibbs,
attacked
Gibbs,
Kyle
stop, Gibbs,
Rittenhouse
stop,
was that
stop,
political
stop,
violence?
Stop, stop. Okay, I'll stop you. Okay. Peach.
It was mob violence.
Oh, that's mob violence, not political violence.
Yes, it is.
Oh
It
my
was mob
fuck!
violence.
It was during
Yes.
a riot
Fucking
about
kill
George
me.
Floyd. That's
Fucking
political
kill me.
violence. Holy shit!
shit.
They were rioting about George Floyd. Then when
That's
Kyle
political
Rittenhouse-
violence.
Oh my God! You're asking me if them going after Kyle Rittenhouse was political violence. What they were doing is
He's spiking so hard.
rioting. They were already rioting at the
Oh, your
time, and so
mic's
they're
blowing out.
Peach, we
You're
can't
blowing
hear
out,
you.
Mike. You're blowing out, Mike.
Now they're going to go after.
That was political
Kyle
violence.
Rittenhouse. It's different. It's just.
They were
different.
right. So was the
But point
BLM
is
riots
that
a
you're-
politically motivated event? Yes or no? Yeah, I know the
Yes.
answer is okay. Cool. So if you're attacking people during a riot for a politically motivated reason, those people committed political violence. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't commit political violence, but the people that attacked him did.
No,
No, he did.
no. That's
You guys
not
have to
necessarily
agree on
true.
that. You brought up
That's not
January
necessarily
6th. I
true.
would
Can
say
you
that
under-
any violence that happened on J6 was political violence. If you break into the Capitol and you're someone who's doing violence, you are doing
Yes.
political violence. I would say that. And that's not a bullet I have to bite. That's just obvious to me. And so the same way, if you're at a BLM riot, you end up attacking somebody and trying to grab their gun, you're doing political violence. Like the January 6th thing is an apt comparison.
The reason why I'm saying that it's more mob violence than political violence when it comes to going after Kyle Rittenhouse specifically is that after he shot, I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name at this current point in time. It was everybody in the streets. What did he do? What did he do? Let's get him. We need to get him. They were already there to riot, and it was violent. And I don't agree with any of the BLM riots. That was bad. And so I just make that little distinction. I don't think that it's that important. Sure, it was in the middle of left-wing violence, though. I acknowledge that. I just think that it's a small distinction that I really don't.
Okay,
care
I
about.
guess
The
I'm
left-wing
curious, would
violence.
you- would you say-
Hold on, wait,
would-
I want to build a
Conflict,
bridge
I
here
want to
for a
respond to what
moment.
you said.
No,
I'm never
I
building a
gotta
bridge
get
with
in here
you.
just for a
Rube,
second.
go ahead, Rube.
We agree that kind of violence is not acceptable, right? The kind of mob violence and stuff like, and certainly that's your position, is that you don't like that kind of violence.
Yes. Violence is
Okay.
bad. I have no problem saying that. All violence is bad. Political violence is bad. But the point is that what we do is we look at, or not we, but what I'm seeing here, and I wanted to say, Confluence, I really appreciate. What did you say? You had indicated that Donald Trump's messaging is something that you didn't agree with as far as the way that are perpetuating political violence on the left, or I don't remember. It's too far removed at this point. But I guess the point is that I think that the Charlie Kirk shooting would have been an important time for us all to come together and say, no, President Donald Trump, all political violence is bad. We shouldn't be going after the whole entire Democrat Party. And we could have all came together and agreed to that. All I care about is what do we do about political violence in our country? I don't care at this point what side it comes from. Now, if we say all political violence is bad and we all agree to it and we all come together and unify as the United States, and then we can actually look through a more narrow lens and see what side does what and when and how do we solve it moving forward, then fine. But we can't even get to that part because we are so still divisive, and it has to be a lefty or a righty, and it has to be a lefty so we can justify violence against the lefties and we can continue the divide.
Can I
So, I
ask
don't
you a
know.
question then? Because I would agree. Yeah, like Trump's what he said at the memorial thing. I don't like that. I mean, it's classic Trump, so I don't expect anything less. But I don't think it was like a prudent thing to say. I don't think it calms the temperature. But would you say then that applies equally to the left-leaning people that are justifying it or saying, well, Charlie Kirk, he advocated for terrible things? Because to me, that's also not calming the temperature. They're basically saying, well, he said all this bad shit. And so, I mean, they're kind of giving a fuck around and find out attitude, which to me, that also raises the temperature. So I'll agree with you that Trump is raising the temperature and not calming things down. But I want you to also agree with me.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Yes,
So
I
you-
agree.
That's Democrat
Okay.
Party leaders doing that too,
So
specifically
here's the thing, Conflict, you
AOC,
have to understand.
Ilhan Omar,
Trump
Jasmine
is the
Crockett,
president
all have done
of the
that.
United States.
Hold on, just
He's
real
the
quick.
leader of the party.
Just
He's the
real quick,
leader
Moto,
of the
Moto,
party in power.
I'm going to give the mic to you in a second, but Gibbs said something. I want him to clarify. So you were saying that AOC Ilhan Omar and who else?
And
did
Jasmine
you-
Crockett have all made
Jasmine
have
Crockett.
made statements similar to what Confluence described, where they're like, "Yeah, violence is bad, but this guy was a piece of shit." They've all made statements, and
Do you
those are
think
political.
that
universe-
is,
I'm gonna look them
do you,
up.
hold on.
I don't
Do you
know
think that is celebrating or condoning violence? In
No,
your opinion?
well, I will say I think maybe condoning a bit would fit. I don't know, not celebrating, but what I think it does do is it's excusing. Like, right, you're sitting there saying this guy's a piece of shit, but he died. Oh no, I'm so sad. The evil piece of shit that I don't like died. Oh no, that's terrible. That's what they're doing, and like to act like they're not doing that is pretty deceitful and bad faith because that's definitely incendiary.
And I've seen the same
You
thing
know that-
happen.
I have
That's
AOC
exactly the
statement
thing that
pulled
Trump
up.
has done.
Wait,
I
what?
have
Go
AOC
ahead.
statement pulled up, but
Well, can you read it to us? I'm curious.
yeah.
I don't know
I
it
mean,
off the top of my head.
it's kind of long. I can send it to you if you
Okay,
want to
just
to me instead. But I mean, just the very beginning.
Cliff
very
note it.
beginning. Yeah, condemning the depravity of Kirk's brutal murder is a straightforward matter, one that is especially important to help stabilize an increasing unsafe and volatile political environment where everyday people feel at risk. We can disagree with Charlie and come together as a country to denounce the horror of killing. That is the bedrock of American value, is how she starts out. So she's condemning the killing. I don't see this
So
igniting the flames against him. and saying that
If that's all the
he's
tweet
civil.
says, I'm in
Add
support
here-
of
No,
that.
there's
No,
hold on. There's
I mean,
like
there is
hold
more.
on. There's
No,
hold on. There's
no,
not
no,
just
send it to you,
tweets.
though.
There's multiple interviews that Ilhan Omar has given recently. They're probably like, listen, I've already shared them on
You're
my
gonna
Twitter.
need to
Hold
provide
on. I already have. That's cool. I did this before the debate. Just go to my Twitter and you can just start
Wrangler.
scrolling them. I've reshared them, retweeted. If you scroll there, I've shared quotes from Ilhan Omar on screen. I've shared quotes from Jasmine Crockett, and I've shared from what was the other one I named? I'm blanking. But for all three of them are on my Twitter. They've been shared. You might have to scroll for a second, but I provided them. There's links to videos. They've all said basically excusing behavior, like kind of things. Like, oh well, he had said these things.
So-
I can see why someone came to the
Including
conclusion
AOC?
they needed to shoot him. Yeah, she's all said these things. They all should be up there.
I'm
They're
not
like,
checking anything
Peach.
AOC.
I mean,
Peach, the thing you linked then it goes on to give a bunch
Continue,
of justifications after.
Justifications for what? For killing him?
I mean, if you go on and you start saying, "Hey, there's no excuse for it," but by the way, Charlie Kirk, he's a terrible person, and he says that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake, and he did all this stuff, and he celebrated the attack on Paul Pelosi, and blah 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 blah.
Wait,
Like,
Are
This was
those-
about
are
being
those things
clear of
not
who he
true?
was when we're talking about honoring the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. This was in response
should
to
be
that
honest.
Can we
directly.
switch
We
to
ought
it's just
to be
convenient
honest
that
about
you
the
read
things
that
we
first
said.
paragraph. I think.
Okay, wait, no, it is not convenient. Wait, did I not say that it's really long? Maybe I should send it to you. You said to summarize it. I said this is the beginning of her statement. I didn't do anything like that.
I know.
She did
Maybe you
say it
didn't
was
read maybe you didn't read the whole
I-
thing. That's fair.
But
I don't think it
to be
was
clear,
There's
what she
nothing
linked-
that she
hold on,
said.
hold on,
He's not
hold
gonna
on.
read the
What
rest
she
of it.
linked in chat, just to clarify, what she linked to chat, if this is what she was referring to,
Yes.
was in response to the memorandum calling for honoring the life and memory of Charlie Kirk. And
You want me to start?
Peaches. And this is AOC is not condoning the violence. She is explaining why she's not voting for this bill. So I'm done.
Yes. And to say that,
Well,
like,
she started off-
that I should have gone to the very middle and said we should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was. That's what somebody would do if they wanted to be dishonest and try to paint her as somebody who's celebrating his
No,
death.
I'm just saying. But
was
if I just listen to the
Oh!
intro, it sounds like a very just good statement, and then you keep reading, and it's like, oh,
I
okay.
think it is a good statement. I think
There's
that
some
when
like
you,
It's a
some
great
low level
statement.
justification of
It
it is
this.
a great
It is a
statement.
good-
There is no
it is a good
justification
statement.
of this
You just
murder.
admitted-
It's why
you
we
guys
shouldn't
just
be. Yeah.
You
Go
guys
ahead.
just admitted that Trump went live on Fox and Friends justifying right wing violence.
Yeah, no, I
Like
think
this is a bad thing.
message
Hey,
was good.
what did wait, question. What did Trump say after Melissa Hartman was assassinated when he was asked what his response was? What did Trump say about that? Do you
Who is
remember?
Melissa Hortman, by the way? Who is she?
She was a Minnesota State Assembly member who was assassinated in her home along with her husband. And the
Yeah,
assassin
basically
had
nobody. She's not a
the-
major political
basically
figure.
nobody?
She's not responsible for electing a president. She's not responsible for any kind of massive shift on college campuses and increased voter turnout for young white.
She was an
men
elected
who are
official.
responsible.
She was an
Yeah,
elected official
murdered
There
her
are lots of
home.
those all over the country. It's a country.
Yes,
of like
and when they get
300
murdered,
million
that's
people.
bad.
There's a lot of people
is
with
bad. When they
webcam
get murdered,
who
that's
watch
bad.
this
it
debate,
is
too.
bad.
What
No
the
one's saying it's
fuck?
not
Okay,
bad.
and I'm asking,
Why are we
and I'm
comparing-
But I'm
saying
telling
when
you, is
Trump
that, hold on, just
when
to be
Trump
clear,
was asked about it,
she's
when Trump was
nobody.
asked about it, what did he say? What did he say?
You tell
I don't
us.
care what he said. She's nobody.
He said, "Why would I call Tim Walz? What would be the point?"
Yeah, what would be the point?
Yeah, I guess.
To
I
call
don't
Tim
know.
Walz and say that, hey, I understand that this is a big day for Minnesota and this is a tragic event for Minnesota, and how can I help?
Recognizing her as a
That would
victim
have been
of
a good
political violence
response.
too.
How
You
could
didn't
he
even do
help?
That would have been a good response.
How
from
could he
the
help?
fucking president of the United States of a fucking America.
No, I get the
Dude.
point. Like, the performance is helpful, right? The performance of like, hey, I'm gonna make a show of public good faith, them reaching across the aisle and saying hello. Like that is something that's valuable, or at least used to be valuable.
Well,
We can
so
agree on that, right?
so I want to also
before
say
before we go on, I do need to make a little money today, so I'm going to read some super chats. Okay. $5 from Audacity to say we had sparklers for 4th of July. Are my kids Nazis now? $5 more from Audacity to say Trump and Miller gave their speeches, and the only political violence that occurred afterwards was immigrants getting shot by another violent lefty LMAO. Thank you for the $5. $5 from Cameraman 502 to say several things are true. Kimmel lied. It's not an FEC violation. And Carr and Trump irrevocably tainted the proceedings. Thank you for the $5. $5 from Audacity to say Trump saying radical left and her getting offended is pretty telling. $10 from Chuckles Desu says, I feel like you have to answer who else Kimmel was implying. And if you aren't, you are deliberately trying to obfuscate, like Wick. Force him to answer that, because that's pretty important. I'll respond to this.
To be clear, I did.
Okay,
To be clear, I did say that. Yeah.
Fair enough, but
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
like I'm not trying to Chuckles. You guys just have no reading comprehension, frankly. You just don't know what words mean. Okay, $5 from Antonio Cunningham to say, what? She's blaming the right, a whole group, but it's mad when people point to the radical left, not including liberals. She's so dishonest.
Shoot that guy next.
Speeches.
The next time you send an assassin out, shoot that
Hey,
guy.
one more,
Everybody who
one
says
more.
imagine
Hey,
we did,
hey,
shoot him.
I still got money. $5 from Old School to say the Dems have been calling the right fascist since Truman. Lee Harvey's first target was General Edwin Walker, who he called a fascist, and then €6. Euros. Would it be justified for Biden to call for the eradication of the GOP after Pelosi got attacked? Thank you for the €6. Okay, with that said, let's give it to Confluence. He's been the best behaved, and then we'll give it to Gibbs.
A point I want to mention, and I think it's pretty obvious, but when George Floyd was killed, you saw a whole summer of love of mostly peaceful anarchy with people going crazy. Okay. And some people expected that this would happen after the death of Kirk. I mean, he was a main political figure, right? Like George Floyd was someone that no one knew, right? And this guy was intentionally shot by an assassin, and there has been no right-wing rioting. Like, what does that tell you about the left versus the right? The left goes absolutely bonkers when something happens to someone that they think is a misjustice has been handed to them. But yet the right, we've seen more left-wing attacks in the past, Gibbs displayed in his opening.
I mean, who
we have right-wing.
After Hortman died?
I don't know.
No
did
one
anyone?
did.
Yeah, white people don't
nobody
riot
did.
as much. This is
But-
not
but
like
as-
How many people
Weird.
rioted after
Right?
Paul
White people
Pelosi was
don't
attacked?
riot as
Just
much.
real quick.
This
As
real
Ash
quick
said, these
over
people
there.
are
Hold on,
like, I
hold on.
don't want to call her nobody, but
The George Floyd thing happened because it was state violence. So someone from the state, the government, killed someone, right?
Oh, wait.
That's
So
the
the same thing as January 6th when Babbitt got killed by a state police officer? Cool, thanks for that.
Because
But-
she was attacking the
Oh,
Capitol
hey, that's
building.
it's the
Because she
same
was attacking
thing.
the
That's
Capitol
the only
building.
person that
She
died.
was attacking. Have you
that was
seen
the,
that video?
That's the only person that was died at January 6th. So
Hold on, Moto, stop.
Hold on, that's the
rest
only.
of you. Hold on, Gibbs, stop, and I'll let you go in a second. I'm just curious. Confluence and Rube, do you think that Babbitt and Floyd getting killed were the same? Do you think that these incidents were the same?
No, I actually don't. I don't
No.
think they're the same. No.
Okay. So Gibbs, you're
I
out on
think
your
that-
own here. Go
No,
ahead.
well,
Gibbs.
no,
Yeah.
well, hold on. Well, let's just clarify. They are the same in the sense that a state official killed them both, right?
They're the same in that sense.
Cool.
But,
Exactly. Yeah. So, but here's the other thing I wanted to bring up that I wanted to bring up here. You know, we're talking about which side's more likely to commit violence.
Comparisons are only between two things that are exactly.
Exactly. Well, so this is my point here, though. We want to talk about which side's more likely to violence. USA Today just did a poll, and I just posted it in the chat, right? Or somebody did the poll, and it looks like people on the left, specifically liberals and people further left, are 4 times more likely than the conservatives that think the political violence is justifiable. So when we're sitting here saying one side is more likely to do this, and we look at these polls, we look at this information, and then we look at the way that the left has unfairly labeled certain things, like the Pulse nightclub shooter being a right-wing political violence, we know that y'all are lying about shit. We now have the evidence to prove it, and then y'all go, oh, well, hey, it's mob violence whenever somebody attacks you at a political riot.
I want to be clear.
No. This is your exact words, Pete. This is your exact words, Pete. Hold on, this is your exact words. And this is the reclassifying and obfuscating that y'all like to do. I asked you because someone brought up Kyle Rittenhouse, and y'all said we all talked about how that wasn't political violence, but he didn't defend himself. But was important to make sure that I asked y'all about the guys attacking because that was a political event. And what you said was, and I quote you, "Oh, that would be mob violence." And this is the ticky-tack, baby-back bullshit word games that the Dems like to do, where they go, "Oh, well, this guy's actually a right-wing ideology of Islam, so they're going to be Democrats and leftists when we need them to." But when they do something bad, we're going to say they're right-wing ideologues. Oh, yeah, and it's bullshit, and we're on to the game. So stop being dishonest and trying to reclassify words whenever we know these are left-wing.
You are watching that into so many other claims.
Them wins every single fucking time. Why do you do that, Gibbs?
Do what?
You know how the game is played. You know how they're going to respond. You ostensibly understand their entire big conspiracy. So why do you keep doing the exact same thing?
No, the only reason why Kyle Rittenhouse happened was because of the horrible violence that was being committed at the time. I have no problem saying that. There's violence that happens on the left. There's violence that happens on the right.
Yeah, it wasn't political.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if it's political.
I'm pointing out the hypocrisy. The reason why I do this is because I'm pointing out the hypocrisy.
Controversial, and that your brains would be so fucked to not understand.
Yeah, when you reclassify political violence as mob violence, our brains kind of do reel a little bit.
Yeah, that's my point. Is the reclassification?
You said it's not political violence; it's mob violence.
When the mob starts chasing after Kyle Rittenhouse because of what he did, it wasn't this guy's a righty, we need to kill him. It was the mob being like, oh my god, we need to get this guy, kill him, because they were already rioting for political reasons. They were already burning shit down for political reasons. Yeah. Yes, political violence.
Oh, I'm glad we agree now.
If that's not a distinction that you're okay, if that is not a distinction that you're okay with, then fine. Ask me about anything else. I will own any violence that happens on the left. I am not married to some ideology like you are, and I don't use it to try to prove a fucking point.
I mean, what ideology am I married to? The point I'm making here is that y'all are the only ideology that I'm really adhering to right now is pointing. I mean, I'm not even a MAGA guy, but that's a good try though. Even though I am defending Trump. What's crazy though is that y'all are sitting here. What y'all are saying here is that when y'all are sitting here saying, "Oh, hey, it doesn't matter what these people were, if they're right wing or left wing. It doesn't matter whenever. Oh, hey, it's violence, but it's mob violence. We're gonna reclassify, and then we're gonna say it's all right wing, and then suddenly we start looking at it and we go, no, this looks like the left wing has a lot of violence going on. Then y'all go, well, it doesn't matter, and it's ticky tack bullshit word games, and we're tired of it, and we know y'all are being good bad things, and we're so sick of this Well, I know, and the reason why is because they're not answering. Yeah, because they're sitting here not answering to the hypocrisy. That's what I'm pointing out, is the hypocrisy of the left.
Gibbs, please. Peach, you had a question for Gibbs. Ask him the question. I want Gibbs to answer. Please, go ahead.
Do they both commit political violence?
Do both sides commit political violence? Yeah, absolutely. Both sides commit political violence.
Okay. Great, we got that out of the way. I want to give the mic to Moto. He's been trying to get in here. Moto, go ahead.
So here's the thing, right? Just to point this out, right? He says Gibbs likes to say that he's not MAGA, right? But he repeats all their talking points. He parrots all of their shit. He follows all of their accounts on Twitter.
Sure.
He reacts to all of their content, right? Like he's as MAGA as you can be without him actually admitting it, for one. And for two, what I always find fascinating when talking to people like Gibbs is like, all of these word games that they accuse leftists of playing, it's all projection, right? It's all projection. It is. It just functionally is, right? You'll lie. lie and then call the fact check a lie. You'll say that something like you keep harping about this this left wing shooter went to do what at this ICE facility? Shoot the detainees? Does that sound like a leftist position to you?
Well,
Gibbs?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Him missing the people he was supposed to shoot because liberals don't know how to use guns is a stereotype. But hey, that's whatever. But hold on, I would like to readdress since I had some accusations leveled my way. Well, one, I don't know. You can tell me if which of these are MAGA policies, right? Would you argue that like Texas republicanism and Texas nationalism sympathies are a inherent MAGA quality? Because that's probably my number one voting issue. Would you argue that's a MAGA thing? Oh, no, it's not, because that's ridiculous. If they're not, I didn't know very many Texas nationalists or Texas national sympathetic people were fucking MAGA people. Okay, cool. So crazy. Hold on. I'm going to keep going down the list. What is MAGA's? Hold on. What is MAGA's policy for the beef industry right now? Do you know? Because I know what Trump's is, and I like it more than some. I don't. Hold on. I know what Trump's is. I wonder. I like. Hold on. Well, I'm responding to what you said. I like some of his stuff, don't like other things, right? Cool. So once again, I can be critical. I don't like Trump's gun control fucking laws. I don't like the idea of trans people not having guns. Oh, once they start taking one mental illness guns, they're going to come for everybody and just classify things as they want. There are plenty of things I break from MAGA on. So just because you don't know my political beliefs doesn't mean that you can sit here and pigeonhole me because I follow some random accounts on X and they happen to say some things I agree with sometimes. However, but what I can do here is say that all of y'all today on this panel have done the hypocrisy that I keep pointing out, which is a recurring theme of the leftists. That's the problem. It's not a projection. I own my stances. But y'all are sitting here afraid to own y'all stances.
Okay, just for clarity, because I'm not sure either, can you give me the hypocrisy, Gibbs?
Sure, I can absolutely do that. The hypocrisy would be one, just on this panel, she's tried to walk it back, but was mob violence, not Republican violence. That's crazy stuff. That's crazy stuff. It was wild. We've sat here several times. They argued, earlier when I brought up the Pulse nightclub and I brought up that he was a Muslim, and they go, it could be religious right. That's right-wing ideology. Oh, so they're in the same camp, but
one at a time, Gibbs. So you said her position on mob violence was hypocritical.
Yeah, it's hypocrisy.
How?
Because it's this ticky-tack word game bullshit, right? Wherever we go, hey, this is political violence, and then y'all go, we're going to reclassify this and call this something else, and then when we point this out, y'all go, all the right-wing violence is a thing, and when we can say, this is left-wing violence, suddenly, why does it matter? It doesn't matter, and this is hypocrisy at its finest. You can't bitch about, for example, I complained earlier in this panel, Vic, and I brought up the, mob tactics used by the FCC like you claimed. I'm saying it would be hypocritical now after we have all this information that's come out how the Biden administration used the same sort of pressure to sit here and go, hey, it's censorship. That would be hypocrisy. It's this kind of behavior right here. That's the hypocrisy.
If I stuck my hand
do you think
jar,
that the FCC
also, thanks for the gift of subs.
Let me make a little money. $20 from Ben Riley to say the logical contradiction in asking for him to apologize implies that he was fired because of the FCC and Trump and not because of ratings and money. Otherwise, he wouldn't need to apologize because he wasn't fired for what he said. And then $5 from Peak to say Gibbs, if liberals don't know how to use guns, does that mean Tyler Robinson couldn't have been a liberal?
No, this is the really that's a good point, but here's the really sad part about this. Liberals and leftists, they know that they don't produce very many children of their own. So what they do is they try to take children from right-leaning households, like this child who was sitting here and indoctrinated once he got to college. And then because he came from a right-leaning family, he didn't know how to shoot, which is unfortunate because they sit here and radicalize the right-leaning people. Yeah, that's the problem here, is they actually are going after the youth. It's a playbook they've known for a while. That's why they got into academia. It's clearly apparent that if you can take someone from a Republican home and they go to college and they boom, suddenly it's a liberal cesspool factory.
It's
grooming. It's grooming. That's a perfect example. It's grooming is what it is, really.
Yeah.
Gibbs, where are the Epstein? Hey, Gibbs, where are the Epstein files?
Just real quick, Tyler Robinson didn't go to college. He went to a trade school. He went to college for like half a semester, and it was.
So he did go to college. Cool.
Yeah, he went to college. He studied comp sci?
So he went to college. Then what do you mean?
College is the same as a trade school.
Hold on.
No, he did go to college.
He did go to college.
That is factually true. I think he studied comp sci or math or something.
Yeah.
yeah, for like.
This is why he
again,
went insane,
half a
because he had to grow up
semester.
with people like
Like,
this.
I don't know.
Hey,
do you
Gibbs.
think that's
Living
what
with conservative parents will drive you
I think it's
fucking
partially the
insane.
reason. Yeah,
I think it's a partial
Hey,
thing.
Hey,
I
Gibbs,
think
you want to talk
partial
about
and the
groomers?
Discord
Where are
groups.
the Epstein files, brother? Where are the Epstein
Oh,
files,
is this
brother?
the debate we're having now? The Epstein files about Charlie Kirk? Like,
No,
I
I'm
mean,
asking you if you care about this like this grooming problem that seems to be happening at like left wing, like the left.
listen, release him. I want him released. If
uh,
Trump's on there, throw him in the wood chipper with the rest of them. You know, like if he's if he can convict him,
I'm
like
with
I'm
Gibbs on
like
that.
if you can prove that he
Sure.
was diddling kids, throw him in the wood chipper. That's all you need.
Can I get an assurance from you that when this panel is over, that you're going to tweet out and tag a White House account to release the Epstein files?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and I've come on this panel. We can vouch for this.
That's a yes or no.
Hold on, I will tell you right now. When it comes to how I voted on local issues like the border, which affects me regularly. I voted on the economy, and I voted on some other things. The Epstein files were like number 20 on my list, and like I don't give a shit about the Epstein files. If we're being honest, like, they are like
Exactly.
super
He
low
doesn't give
on
a
my
shit
list.
about grooming. He doesn't
For me,
give a shit about grooming.
I made a whole video shitting on the right.
But I'm not going to
I made
sit
a
here
whole
and cover
video
for
shitting on the right
if it
for
comes
the
out,
Epstein
throw him in a wood
files
chipper.
and their mishandling of everything.
Yeah,
I made an entire video
I wonder
on
how
this.
long ago that was. How long ago was that?
I mean, listen, but we're both saying
maybe a month. It was when the Pam Bondi said she had it on her desk,
we're
and then
literally,
everyone lied.
we're literally
Yeah.
both saying
Okay,
we're both saying
I'll react to that on stream.
Hold on, we
Okay.
both are.
Please,
we are
please
both.
do. I think you'll like it.
We are both saying though, if there's evidence, and it's plenty of evidence that these people, even our dear leader, like you said, is on these files and actually is doing convictable child diddling, then throw him in the wood chipper, right? We are both claiming that, right? I'm just not sitting here gonna die on this Epstein hill because it's not an issue I voted highly on. And the same thing. Hold on. And the same thing when we brought this was on a WIC panel too.
If it doesn't matter to
This
you
is on a
either
WIC
way,
panel
can I
too.
get an
Hold on.
assurance from
This is
you?
on a WIC
Can I
panel
get
as
an
well.
assurance from you
I
that at
said
the end of this
I
panel,
also said I was not
you will
satisfied
tweet
with
out
how Pam Bondi
and
and
tag a
not
White House
Bongino, but
affiliated
the other guy,
account
Cash
to
Patel,
release the
had
Epstein
handled it
files.
so far, and they both should be.
do this too.
Hold on, and they should both be fired if they're. And I said on Dan Bongino, I didn't know enough about his involvement to say fire in one way or the other. But I said on the WIC panel, both of those probably should be fired based off the handling. So you're sitting here, you're barking. Y'all were talking about fighting ghosts. I was pointing out things the whole time.
I do have
and there's
a
plenty of
question.
evidence of this.
Yeah, I do have a question for the panel. And this we got about 20 minutes left, right? And I want to make sure we get this answered, right? Because we talked a lot about the right's reaction to all of this and things like that. What do we think is the solution to the problem? So I assume we all understand that there is a problem in America regarding violence. I think everyone would agree with that. Yes? Just a simple yes? Yes? Okay.
Yep.
Given that that's the case, what should we do to fix it? And I want to start with Peaches, and we're just going to go around. Okay, Peaches, what do you think?
What should we do to fix it? We need to start by being able to acknowledge that political violence is just a problem, and I feel like that's just not something that we can really do because everyone just wants. Because the second that you bring up, or whenever we talk about this, what have we done so far? Well, did you see the left's response? Okay, you mean AOC, like, and all these horrible things that she said? Well, we looked it up, and she didn't say all those horrible things. But now we're gonna pivot, and then we're just gonna talk about how the left is just demonizing the right. And then I've been sitting here this whole time being like, yeah, sure, like there's political violence on both sides. I'll own all political violence on the left. I'm not married to the left. I was MAGA for a really long time. We can play this game all we can, but we literally can't do anything until we can all get on the same page. And Confluence, I was really happy and excited to hear that you said, yeah, I don't agree with Trump's message. I think that if we could all do that and we could all just get on the same page and be like, yeah, what the hell do we do about political violence? Then we would all get along very well. But also, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, this guy, but he's a perfect example of the problem with Trump currently, because all he wants to do is commit violence against his opponents. He's championing President Trump's message about violence to the left, and so there is no solution.
Do you mean me?
Yes, there is no solution
Okay.
to the problem until we can all just agree that political violence is bad, and we just stop trying to point the finger and try to make people. Just stop pointing the finger. There is no hope until that happens.
Go ahead, Rube. This guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the right on this panel has only inflamed tensions, and I don't actually agree with Trump's message. I was agreeing with you guys earlier that he was calling for political violence or justifying it earlier. I'm sorry if that didn't come across correctly. I have justified it elsewhere, of course.
Don't you agree with
I think
political
the right
violence,
is. Well, I think that things like jailing and stuff like that are also political violence in a way. If you're
Okay.
imprisoning political enemies and stuff like that, I think that falls under violence, even if it's not happening under, even if it's under like the legitimacy of the state. I think
Or
it's
the
still
political
political
enemies.
violence. Yeah, I'm gonna give my statement anyways.
Okay.
We can go back over that in a moment, though. So I think the right is only like inflamed tensions similar to how Donald Trump did, and I think that worries the left because they like the idea of presenting themselves as, oh, maybe we'll go off in the same direction to where we're just kind of aimlessly starting to lash out at random political people, at random leftists. You know, we're just going to get random leftists fired for being leftists. We're just going to go get random people killed because they happen to be leftists. We're going to start, it'd be crazy if we shot leftist speakers. And I don't think that's terribly effective. I don't think it's good, certainly, but I no longer get the luxury of evaluating whether something's good. I really just have to focus on strategy here. I think we need to be super, super fucking surgical in the people that are attacked and the people that we take advantage of this tragedy to go after. I think it needs to be all the DAs who let out animals onto our fucking streets, the people who've been perpetuating a two-tier justice system that allows Antifa rioters and BLM rioters to run free on the streets. The people who did this years ago have not been arrested. I mean, the J6 guys, whatever you think about them, God, they were really put through the political ringer. Some of them were held without bail for something like 3 years. I might be brainborn by a headline there. All right, but it's crazy that we've had to live in this two-tier justice system. And the people who did this have names and addresses, and they can be thrown in prison. The people who refuse to prosecute left-wing terrorists, we can throw them in jail. People who've accepted money from DAs who have accepted money from George Soros, the members of the Soros Foundation, we can register them as foreign agents and then maybe as hostile foreign agents and start imprisoning them. And we could totally get away with it. It would cripple a lot of the violent left-wing infrastructure, and we could finally get back to having left-wingers that believe in healthcare, believe in, at least a premise of racial equality, care a little bit about workers' rights and stuff like that. That's my overall point is, yeah, that's my bad. So TLDR, go after the people who are responsible for doing this, and we know who they are. Don't just lash out.
Okay, go ahead, Gibbs.
I almost forgot the question in the monologue. What was the question? I'm so sorry.
How do we fix the problem?
Oh, how do we fix the problem? Okay, yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Political violence, okay?
Appreciate it. Sorry, the concussion. He got me going. I got lost in his long flowing hair. All right, cool. So here's what's going down here. I love you, I don't know what to do, really. Like, on one side, I'm very confused. Like, violence is not the answer. We're in a political arena. We should be encouraging people to speak. We should be talking. I encourage in my Discord. I encourage in my stream people of all sides to come and say things, right? And I think that's what we should be doing, right? Like, I don't have a problem with one person calling another person the R word or calling someone a dumbass or something, et cetera, right? But I think there is a line to where the inflammatory talk gets too much. Where, like, you're literally a fascist. You're literally a Nazi. You're literally hunting people. And I think that's a problem. I think they're inflammatory words. I think that are bad. I don't know what the answer is. I think the only thing we can do is encourage more speaking because our nation has been built on talking to each other. And we're getting to the point, though, where it's very concerning because I'm starting to see on the right, and I'm starting that from a lot of people, that they feel like the time for talk is done. Because why talk to them when they're going to kill our biggest speakers? And then we're going to have prominent people, and I'm not saying Destiny's the end-all be-all, but he's not the only one. Hassan's a big guy. He said some pretty outlandish shit too, like kill landlords, and he said kill them all, let their capitalist blood bleed. I'm seeing, and he's a big person, right? We see Destiny said what he said about conservative speakers. We see and on the right, these guys are going, well, this is what their prominent speakers are talking about, are saying well, how do we fight that? Do we go and talk to him and keep talking, or do we fight it with fire? And I don't know that we want to fight it with fire, because where does that lead? Civil war. And I hope that's not where we're going. So I hope we could get back to civil conversation, because I think we have to do it at the grassroots, because the leadership's not, the leadership on both sides is not going to do it. Yeah, sorry, I'm done. I mean, that was the last thing. Yeah.
Actually, discussion on this topic, and you all decided to take, I guess, 5 minutes to say your
yeah, it's a good question.
I'll be real quick, I promise.
Yeah,
I can be real quick.
I just want discussion on this too. So go ahead, Confluence.
The answer.
And then Motto.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
well, I'll keep mine brief. I think, I said in my ideal Confluence world that we would arrest people who are celebrating, but I acknowledge we have a First Amendment and people can say it. It's protected speech. So I get that. What I would think should be done is that I think people should face consequences. People should lose their jobs. I think if back in the day when JFK was assassinated, if you had a bunch of right-wingers celebrating it openly, I think, and they were like teachers, they would lose their jobs. That's not, you can call it cancel culture, but there is a line that's so far beyond the Overton window that I think consequences should be met. And because that's the problem with Gen Z, everyone is celebrating the violence and then they cheer each other on, they blackpill each other in Discord groups. And I think that's the way to stop it. Because if you look at the stats of like who's celebrating it, it's primarily young people and young people on the left. And I think that would just leads to more cycles of violence. Yes, I wish we could make the people at the top, like Trump, cool the temperature, but we don't have that power, I guess. But I think there is a very real thing that we can do. Stuff like Asmongold, who is going on Blue Sky and seeing people who are in the video game creator industry who are openly saying disgusting stuff. And he's encouraging people to go and message their employer. And I think, yes, a line has been crossed and they should do that. And that could be one way that we could ratchet everything down.
Because famously, creating online mobs to go after people who've said wrongthink is a ratchet.
There's a line. There's a line, Wick.
Yeah,
there's a line.
it's such a good
I'm not
thing. It
saying
always
something.
works, Wick.
I know it
I'm
can
just
go
saying,
too far.
When has this ever toned things down?
I think if people faced enough consequences, I think they would stop openly celebrating violence. And I think these.
If you
Okay, as
kill
an
enough
example.
of them, they'll stop. Yeah.
No,
Can I ask
not
the
what I'm
left-wing
saying. I guess
nurse
what I
something?
would say.
Just
What I
so
would
I
say.
know.
My
I
final
wanna
thing.
ask him.
I want to say one final thing. I want to say one final thing. I think that these social media companies can do more, like YouTube did with demonetizing Destiny, because that is a negative influence. And so they can do that. They can kind of use the stick on him to be like, hey, this is what's going to happen. You're going to face financial consequences. And Reddit should be cracking down, Blue Sky, Twitter, all these places, because it should be a violation of their TOS. And so that's something that you can ratchet it down. Put these people back where they belong in like 8chan, anonymously posting, because that doesn't affect society like public Twitter and Blue Sky accounts do.
Okay, go ahead, Moto.
It's real simple. We should demand that Donald Trump himself come out and say we all need to calm the fuck down without blaming Joe Biden, without blaming the radical left, without blaming Nancy Pelosi or Soros or anybody else. Just have him come out and say, hey, everybody needs to chill the fuck out. Okay? That's it. That right there, that would fix so fucking much of this problem. Right there. Period.
What does the rest of you think about the
that's
cancel
ludicrous.
culture thing? Because it seems to be like Rube and Confluence are on a side here, at least when it comes
I
to
am not on their side. Hey, motherfucker.
making people
Absolutely
face
not.
consequences.
No, they want to disappear people. Like they want to disappear people that disagree with them.
Well,
That
for
is
the
not
public
what I
good.
said, brother. Keep lying about me.
Well, what's crazy here is
That is
we were
kinda what you
just
said,
we
yeah.
were just
Not
told
what I said at all.
that what they want is.
Would you like me to explain it to you how that's what you said?
I would like you to try.
Would you like
I don't
to-
think you have the
I have enough
intellectual
crayons.
capacity.
I think
have
you're
an
mixing
appraisal.
up
No, well, that's
positions.
great. I don't care about
Hold
your
on,
crowns. Listen,
hold on.
he just said that. Oh, hey, what I want, my solution is Donald Trump to come out and say everybody need to calm the fuck down. All right, let's just say that happens. Okay, there's the problem I have with that. I if he did that, I think that'd be a good thing. I think that would maybe lead to some less violence. I hope that he does. Right. Here's the problem with that. Right. I'm of the opinion now, at this point in Donald Trump's presidency, after seeing the last 8-10 years, that even if he came out and he got on his knees and he tore his clothes and he wept and he started crying and gave the best, most heartfelt speech written in the era, the tone of Martin Luther King calling for peace, and it was glory, glory, we heard the trumpet play, the left would still come out and be like, this guy's Satan, he did it for XYZ, whatever. I don't think there's anything Trump can do. He could cure cancer and y'all would tell us it would be evil. Like, I just don't think there's anything he could do now
He's
at
doing
this point.
He's doing the
Trump
MAGA memes
coming
now
out-
too. He's doing
Trump-
MAGA memes now too.
I'm just saying, am I wrong? Tell me I'm
Trump
wrong.
coming out You're wrong, because Trump coming out and condemning the
You're
violence,
absolutely
all
wrong.
that does is it would get his base to chill the fuck out. It has nothing to do with the left, because the left is continuously, the left
there
has
it is.
Have a
condemned
little
the
bit to do
violence.
with
The
There it
left
is.
continues
Hold on.
I wanna
to
play- I wanna
condemn the
play
violence.
Gibbs here.
on.
No,
Hold on. Let Peach finish. What are you saying,
Okay,
Peach?
I'm
please?
sorry.
Gibbs, you had mentioned AOC earlier, saying that AOC was celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. We pulled
didn't
up
say celebrating.
AOC's statement. Oh,
I said,
said justifying and excusing.
And excusing.
and that's not what she has been doing.
Ooh,
And she
And then we
absolutely
just
has
move
been
on to
doing
the
that.
next part.
No, she
is
absolutely-
not.
Those are
Do
different
you have
things.
to show anything?
She
When we look
absolutely
it up,
has
she
the-
has not been.
She has
Yes,
absolutely
she has
done
not
it.
been.
Hold on, she's done it
See,
several. She
here's the
did.
point.
She did it on
Here's the point.
MSNBC. She did it on CNN.
Here's the point.
She gave
We're not
quotes.
gonna engage
She
with
said.
reality.
She
It
said.
doesn't
She
matter.
said several things about
point is-
justified whatever. The point is this:
no,
that y'all are
shut up.
lying.
It's my turn. It's
Go
my
ahead.
turn. You're lying. It doesn't fucking matter what you think. It's true. You're lying. And at the end of the day, we're all divided and we're on this both sides bullshit. If you look at the left is continuously condemning the violence and saying that what happened to Charlie Kirk is awful. What happened to him shouldn't have happened. This guy needs to get the death penalty and just be held to the fullest extent of the law. And we need to all calm the fuck down and figure out what's going on in our world when it comes to political violence.
Okay,
Look at the
I have the
right-
quote
no,
from that.
no, no,
I have
no.
the quote
Look
from
at
AOC.
left
You want the
and
quote?
right.
Here's the
Left-
exact quote from
shut the
AOC's
fuck up. I'm
website.
talking.
Since you're
I'm
lying,
talking. Wait,
since you're
wait,
hold on,
I'm
wait,
talking.
you
I'm talking.
just called me a
Okay,
liar.
okay,
I have
okay.
the quote.
Guys,
I have the
I'm
quote.
talking.
This is from
Let
AOC's
me fucking
page.
finish.
Oh
Let
no,
me
no, you want to
finish.
call me a
Let
liar?
me
Let's
finish.
quote her.
Let
Let's
me
quote her.
finish
Let's
before
quote
you
her.
go on.
I'm gonna
Let
read the
me
quote.
finish.
All of you, shush.
Let me
all
finish.
of you. Gibbs, you gotta let her finish, and then.
Oh,
once
but she
you
just
finish,
called me a
I'll let
liar
you
and
go.
said I didn't
You
provide the
can
quote.
read
I have the
You
quote.
respond to her.
Sure.
You will have the floor right after she's done. I promise. you,
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Finish. Be brief. Be
Yep,
concise.
that's fine.
and then we'll
The
get to Gibbs.
reason why it matters for Trump to come out and say something is because his base listens to him and nobody else. If he comes out and condemns the political violence, his base might chill the fuck out, just like they did on January 6th when he finally came out after everyone begged him to come out and condemn the violence that was happening and tell everybody to go home. Guess what? They all went home. He needs to do the same thing, and he's not doing the same thing because he knows that he needs this in order to get his base motivated again and to continue to heat the flames because of the Epstein and because of everything else that he's been doing that is so bad and everybody hates. He needs to reunite and do the same thing that he does all the time, which is just fan the flames and continue to create political division in our country. Go ahead.
I agree with
Now,
that.
So,
for
hold
what
on.
it's worth.
Everyone shut up. Everyone shut up.
Thank you.
Gibbs gets to respond
All right,
uninterrupted.
so I'm going to
Go ahead.
read two portions of this quote. This is from the quote that they read earlier, right, from AOC. All right, the part that she read, and interesting. This is just, it's a crazy confluence. Said this. It's like he's a prophet. This is what he said exactly. This is his exact words. They're going to have something nice up front, then justify it later. Condemning the depravity of Charlie Kirk's murder is a straightforward matter, one that is especially important to help stabilize an increasingly unsafe and volatile political environment where everyday people feel at risk. We can disagree with Charlie and come together as a country to denounce the horror of killing that is a bedrock of American value. All right, cool. That sounds great, right? We love it. Big fan, denouncing the kill. Then we get to the meat of the thing, where first she says, we should be clear about who Kirk was. A man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted black Americans the right to vote was a, there's quotes around it, mistake, who after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi claimed that some amazing patriot out there should bail out his assistant, and accused Jews of controlling not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans, far from working tirelessly to promote unity as asserted by the majority in this resolution. That right there is basically justifying how someone could come to the conclusion of killing Charlie Kirk or excusing it. That's exactly what I said. That's what Charlie said. And so now when you say I'm a liar and I read the direct quote and it's exactly what we both stated, you're full
You
of
are a
shit
liar.
and you're dishonest.
You
I
are a
read this.
liar.
I'm not lying. I
You're lying.
verbatim quoted her in two different paragraphs in the same thing. One yours was first. Mine was
No,
literally
no,
the
context.
penultimum text. No, it's exactly in context. She literally said
not
all
in
these
context.
things are
When Trayvon
horrible,
Martin was
and
killed,
then
not
hey,
justifying
hold on,
murder.
She
What
said
did
these
Obama
things are
say?
horrible,
What did
and then
Obama
goes
come
on
out
to
and
and then
say?
goes on to say, hey, etc. etc. He did all these terrible things. It's terrible.
She's
He got
claiming-
killed. That's
she is
excusing.
claiming-
It's sick.
Hey, Gibbs,
It's gross that you're sitting here
she's-
defending that,
what did
and you
Obama
just
come
should
out
admit
and
that she's
claiming-
excusing it.
She is opposing a resolution for honoring the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. That's what. Oh, what do you mean? That's literally what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
He doesn't care about the details. He doesn't care about
I know
the
he
details. He's
doesn't.
already got the
Interesting,
conclusion in his
because
mind.
it's crazy. It's crazy. This
Because we
double
addressed this
thing
90
y'all are
minutes
doing.
ago. If you wanted to pull up a better example, you could have used the people on Wick's panel before the resolution came out, to where And I agree. If somebody brings up a lot of negative characteristics of somebody after condemning them and explains why it's good that they died, but then caps it off with,
She didn't
well,
say it
they
was
should
Not
have
good.
been
why
To
it's
be
good that he
clear,
died.
she
It's why
didn't
we're
say
not
it
going
was
to honor
good.
the life and legacy.
I agree.
She didn't.
AOC, I agree with you on AOC. That's what I started off with. Chill for a second, please.
I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Thanks.
Please. That's why I
Continue.
said please.
Okay,
Continue.
great. Continue, and then we're gonna start wrapping it up. I got a couple more.
Yeah, I
tickets
just want to
after
go
you.
back because again, you could have gone back to the people in Wix panel when it happened before there was any kind of pretense
Me?
of, well, I'm just responding. No, Gibbs. Before there's a pretense of like, hey, it's responding to this resolution. There were people who were just explaining why it's good that Charlie Kirk got shot before there was a resolution, before that was even on the table, immediately after he got shot. I don't think it's good to pick out politicians who are responding
Well,
to like
the reason I did that is because the argument was, oh, leadership, like Trump's a leader. So I said, fine, let's look at Democratic leadership. And I want to point out that they brought up AOC because she's maybe the most like questionable on how far she justified this with that thing. And even then, I think it's pretty obvious, right? But they didn't argue Ilhan Omar because her quotes are crazy. And then they didn't argue fuck, I'm bringing the other name now that I brought up, but they didn't argue either one of them. But just go look up, just Google them right now. There's about 15 clips now of different things she said on MSNBC and CNN. I'm not going to do your homework for y'all at this point. Like, I've shared them already. Like, they're in my Discord if you want to go look. They're on Twitter. Like, they're in Google. The point is, though, she did do a search. Peach did. And the only one she picked was AOC because she knows that the other ones are much more unjustifiable.
It's because
because
you
she
said
prefers-
that she was celebrating his death.
No, I
and so
said
looked her up to
justifying
see
and
what she
excusing.
said.
Justifying and excusing, exactly what I said.
Wick, I got a question for
which
you,
is
buddy,
not
because
true.
you accused
So it's bad
me
that-
of
so
being
it's
on the
bad when
same
that
side
happens,
of cancel
right?
culture with Confluence? Confluence.
Yeah.
Wick, what about my statement gave you that impression?
I'm sorry, I was looking up the Ilhan Omar tweet, but fair enough.
It's not a tweet, it's a video of her saying this.
Oh well.
And you also
It's,
forgot a bunch of other
an
paragraphs
NBC
too, by
interview,
the
I
way,
think, is
about
the one
AOC's
he's
statement.
I'll look at that
flipping
up
right
later,
now.
then. I thought
Talk
there was
about
a tweet I checked,
selective
but
choice,
the
or
answer-
like choosing selective.
You admitted
what
it's a
she
long
said.
statement, okay?
to
I'm just
answer-
saying,
is.
he picked a weird part.
Okay, to answer your question, what have you said during this panel that makes me think that you are on the side of the people who want to use political violence in order to silence their enemies? Is because you
No,
said
it's a cancel culture.
What do you think
might
that
have
is?
meant something else.
What do you think arresting someone is? What do you think arresting someone for having a different opinion on
cancel
you on the
culture,
wall?
I think, is no.
What do you think that
Okay,
is? Do you
so
think
mix
that's-
it- she's
Cancel
blending
culture is
these.
when Twitter.
Hold on, that's canceling someone with extra steps, right? It's like it's taking someone and making sure that because
No, I
they
think arresting
have a
people
different
is
political
political
position
violence.
than you, that they go to jail. Okay, now
Yeah, that's political violence.
Confluence has said that he's willing to do it for people who merely celebrate. You have a different standard, but at the end of the day, you both have a degree in which, if you differ enough politically, that you will put your enemies in prison.
No, that's a bad faith characterization. Because I would say the same thing about the right.
think it's
I would say
appropriate for Confluence.
anyone who is celebrating, let's say George. I've seen disgusting stuff said about George Floyd when he died. Usually in like 8chan type things where people like no one would
be arrested.
I in my world, yes,
does,
but
be clear.
I don't.
Yes.
I don't.
There you go.
Dang.
I don't control.
There you go.
I
The
don't.
reason
I don't
I
like
asked you
that. I
this-
don't like
I have the
celebration
quote
of
again.
political violence. I don't like it.
Hold on, I have
It
the
leads to
quote.
more
I have the
violence.
quote from. I have the quote.
The mask comes off eventually.
Hold on, I have the quote for Ilhan Omar again.
Distinguish my position.
Y'all ready for this one? This one's bad.
Hey, hold on, hold on.
Point
Let Ruth
on something that
distinguish
you
it, then I
already
gotta
addressed
read
90
the
fucking minutes
end.
ago. I want to answer it.
Answer.
Please. I don't think that I view that stuff as just kind of like the right lashing out, saying, all right, well, let's just arrest these people. Let's individually cancel these random leftists. I don't think that's good. I think that people in position of power are easier targets when stuff like this happens. When one of your political figures gets assassinated, I think you can crack down on left-wing violence, you want to call it left-wing violence or mob violence or whatever have you. I think that that's a specific subset of the left that is often paid to engage in that bad behavior. And I want a real left wing back in this country, and I think that we could crack down on foreigners occupying our occupying federal judge seats, which is totally fucking insane.
Okay, so
with
let
no
me read.
legal experience. Crack down on the Soros Foundation. Crack down on these foreign spies who are agitating
Hey, look, you should just
political
read your super
violence on
chats.
one side.
Yeah, I'm going to read the super chats. We're going to get to closing statements. Confluence, with that take, I want you on tomorrow's show, which tomorrow's show, for those of you who don't know, so tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Soy Pill, we're going to have Logix, we're going to have Aircraft Sparky, and we're going to have, well, there's one more, and I'm blanking on the name. I'll have to look. We're going to have some people on to talk about censorship and the celebrations of Charlie Kirk, and should those people be fired? With your arrested take, if you want on tomorrow, you're more than welcome. I would love that. to be part
Absolutely,
of the
brother.
discussion. Okay, 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, with that said, $5 from Origuni to say, I like how the left like to label people while demanding nuance and not be labeled. Tyler Robinson agreed with standard Dem talking points. Is he a Democrat? $5 from Josh to say, so 3 months in a liberal college is enough to overpower 20 years of conservatism and religion? True. Then $10 from Michael
Brainwashing is big.
Douglas. Okay. Wick is embarrassing himself, pretending words don't contain implications beyond their plain meaning. He is desperately pretending he is anything other than biased. No implication there, by the way. So if you're referring to the statement of Kimmel, yeah, it doesn't mean what you're implying that it does mean. If he wanted to say that, he would have said it because that's who Kimmel is. And in Kimmel's clarification, when he came on last night to about, 7 million viewers, he explained
Something
that
like
that's
that.
not what he meant at all. So you could pretend that's what he meant, but all evidence to the contrary, including grammar and the English language, disagree with you. But that's okay. Thank you for the $10. With that said, okay, what else we got going on? Friday, we're going to have Not So Erudite. We're going to have Eucharist. We're going to have Polymath. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about how to heal America's divide. The right and the left are so at odds. Polymath and Eucharist are on the right. Me and Erudite are on the left. And we're going to have a good faith conversation, an actual conversation, gang, about what we can do to start seeing each other as Americans again and stop seeing each other as enemies. And then tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, we're going to talk about cancel culture. Okay, that said, closing statements. We're going to start with Moto, and we're going to end with Peaches. So Moto, give us what you got.
I think that everything that's happened coming from the right post Kirk is just absolutely disgusting and un-American, and we should not tolerate it. This narrative that political violence is primarily coming from the left, or even the implication that Tyler Robinson was necessarily a lefty. These are just ridiculous prima facie. And Gibbs knows this, Confluence knows this, but they're just too debate hold in it by now to actually admit it. But that's fine. That's okay. It's okay. We can do this again sometime. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely disgusting watching the Nuremberg rally with the WWE sparklers. And it was just gross. And if you agree with that, you should come over where I'm at. We'll have some good conversations.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Confluence.
I like how Moto saves that for the end when that was the first thing I asked is how is it a Nazi rally? And he conveniently just didn't give any fucking explanation and then just slips it into his closing. Real good faith. I think political violence obviously is bad. I think we can all agree on that. And I think we found some agreement in saying that, yeah, Trump should calm down the rhetoric. I do want to say one statement I've seen. You guys have probably seen it on Twitter as well. I don't know who started it, but it says they don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so that they can kill you. And I do think that is happening in this country. And I think that the left is broadly responsible with their rhetoric for the death of Charlie Kirk. But I also think that the right should calm down too. I think everyone should calm the fuck down.
Okay, where can people find you?
Oh, Confluence 358 on YouTube.
Okay, check them out. I have links to all these individuals and their streams and their Twitters and stuff in my YouTube description. Check them out. They've been kind enough to sit on my panel for 2 hours and yell at each other, okay? I don't know if kind's a word there, but if you should reward them with a follow at the very least. Gibbs, Go ahead.
So I'm actually going to do two things here in my closing. The gentleman to my left over here, he said something interesting, which is, Gibbs, why are you sitting here doing this game? And I want to explain why. And it's the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy needs to be shown to the average person. And sometimes maybe we can convert these people, make them realize that they've been living with a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm going to read to y'all now the direct quote from Ilhan Omar that almost got her censored, right? It says, this is what she says: I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day. Then she goes on to say, furthermore, hold on, let me find the quote here. She goes on to say, I feel sorry for his wife, and I feel for her. I can't imagine what she's feeling. However, she sat there beside him while he spewed this hate every day. Now, I'm not an expert on many things, but I will tell you this. That is deception. That is basically going here and saying, I justify this, I condone it, even with a little wink in the eye going, oh, but I don't actually, it's so sad he died. But if someone did kill him, I totally understand. We all know that's what's happening, and the Dems are pulling a bait and switch. I, for one, though, I've been inspired to do more public speaking events. I've been applying to a lot of them. And one that's coming up soon I'm going to be next Thursday to be debating Destiny at his anti-Trump tour. And guess what? They're not going to, if they take a pot shot at me, so be it. But the message needs to be put out there. The left is afraid of the conservatives right now. And the only way they could beat us is by killing us. And if you like anything I have to say or hate everything I have to say, find me as Admiral Gibbs everywhere. Thanks for having me, Wick.
Hey, check him out. Just real quick, $5 from Michael Tuglas to say, Wick definitely isn't a disingenuous moron and a bad moderator, end quote. Clearly, this sarcastic comment must be a compliment. Just read the words. Look, Michael,
you did good today, by the way. You did good moderating.
$5 to show everyone your ignorance about the English language. I will take your money. That's happening. I will read it out, and people can judge. But all they have to do is go and listen and read to what Kimmel said, and they can figure it out for themselves. I'm confident that if you do so with an honest demeanor, they'll see what I see, okay? But that's okay. You can continue to give me money. I appreciate you. Your retardation makes me look better. Thank you. And by the way, that's not an implication. I'm explicitly calling you a retard. I'm explicitly calling you a liar. I'm explicitly calling you bad faith. I'm explicitly saying that if you want to talk to me about this and demonstrate to the world what a fucking moron you are, you can jump into the panel at any time, going backstage, and you can have a conversation with me. I don't even want your money at this point for this, because that will give me such a good example of why you people are, first of all, you need Jesus, okay? That's one. And two, two, you need a better education. Maybe if you went to college, you'd know how to interpret language. And you wouldn't just assume what someone is saying because you've been primed by your fucking MAGA puppet overlords. Anyway, rant over. Rube, go ahead.
That was so good. Everything just emptied out of me. I want to inject that into my veins. No, I think the left has a legitimate concern when it comes to political violence because the right keeps acting as if they're going to do the same thing that the left has been doing, which is lashing out at random people, random civilians, and possibly advancing further on to people who would advance their causes. Just normal people. And this constant implication of, well, they're hypocrites. Imagine if we did it, while also calling for civil war 9 times out of 10. It just stresses them out. It doesn't really accomplish much for us. I've had to live with an impotent Republican Party for all 28 years of life here. So, and I want it stopped. And Charlie Kirk's death, sad as it is totally meaningless. You're spitting on his grave if you're not willing to just go out and take care of the people who are actually fomenting this violence. So it's not the time to go after random people and say, hey, it's here I score an additional point because you, fellow streamer, are wrong about this individual topic. It's like, no, it's time to take care of these foreign judges. It's time to take care of foreign agents. It's time to take care of the people who are funding violence in our country, who are actively paying for domestic terrorism within our country. It's not time to go after normal Democrats. It's time to go after the people controlling them. Okay. I hope the right gets to it.
Thanks for being here, buddy. Last,
always,
but certainly not least. Oh, and before, Lactoid has a question for you, Peaches, and you, Moto, if you want to stay after, but you don't have to. Go ahead, Peaches.
Okay, so I will say that Charlie Kirk's murder is a national atrocity because a man was assassinated for exercising his First Amendment right. We do have a rise in political violence in recent years that needs to be stopped, and when looking at elected officials, both left and right, the left has agreed and condemned the violence in droves. The right, including the president and the vice president of the United States, keep calling for an escalation of violence and blaming an entire party for Charlie Kirk's murder, and they need to answer for their crimes, take accountability. Just real quick on AOC, it wasn't me being sneaky and picking any sort of particular part in order to support my position or to make it sound like she was saying something that she didn't. However, she did say there are a few different paragraphs here. If we want to be selective and point to the paragraph that Gibbs decided to choose to accuse me of being sneaky, okay, fine, where she talks about the things that he believed in, the very next paragraph sentence that she says after that is, it is equally important that Congress unites to reject the government's attempt to weaponize this moment into an all-out assault on free speech across the country. All in the name of Charlie Kirk, the Trump administration and FCC are now cynically threatening to shut down ABC and any outlet who give airtime to his political critics, blah, blah, blah. We continue to pray for Mr. Kirk's family and yada, yada. So if we want to talk about who's being dishonest here, I don't know. You can decide for yourself. She was saying that she didn't feel that it was appropriate to honor him with the resolution that was put in front of her at that time. That's why she said any of his political beliefs to begin with. But if we can't be honest about any of it, then we're just never going to have a solution. Violence is going to continue to grow. This is what started my exit from MAGA. I voted for Trump twice. I have my Trump hat in front of me. I just think that it's crazy that we can't be honest with what's going on
Put
in
it
the
on.
world. If you want more
Prove it.
free and fair discussions, then you can go ahead and follow me at peach_streams everywhere. So there you go.
Check her out, gang. Okay, I'm gonna let most of you go. If you want to stay, Moto.
The stippling
and-
on the letters there, that's a deep fake.
This is
Hey,
not a
you
deep
can?
fake. I
I
bought it
can,
in
but
New
I think I'm gonna
York
turn my
at Trump
camera off, but I
Towers.
can
Okay,
stay.
that's fine.
All right.
What was I gonna say? Cell phone callers, come on.
All right, boys. Let's hop to it here. Let me jump out of this. All right, boys. That was a good one. That was a good one. I think we are done here for the day. I have some other plans. I will probably be back on tonight to play some Helldivers and whatnot. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. We're gonna raid. Let's raid Kel. If I can spell, I can't spell today, guys. Will they acknowledge? No, of course not, bro. Y'all watch? Did y'all watch the same panel that I watched today? You know what I'm saying? Like I was on fire the other day. You know, so everybody go say hi, Kel. You know, post in there. Later, guys.